Oh, I like this. I like this art. This is very nice. This is quite eldritch horror kind of, like the board game. It's
Oh,
cool.
I got it from the same place I get a lot of stuff, which is Google Images. Well, actually, no, I got it from DuckDuckGo Images.
Introducing image attribution for the first time in the history of the podcast. We will respect intellectual property in the sense that we'll put a little bar up that says we got this off of searching on DuckDuckGo.
It's educational use.
I
was just say you filter by commercial use only, just to like fuck with the system.
Okay. Wait, is everything's going, right? Oh, right. We need to do a sync point.
Yeah.
Sync point. 3, 2, 1, mark. Okay, close enough. All right. Well, hello and welcome to There's Your Problem. It's a podcast about engineering disasters with slides. I'm Justin Rosnack. I'm the person who's talking right now. My pronouns are he and him. Okay, go.
I'm November Kelly. I'm the person who's talking now. My pronouns are she and her. Yay, Liam?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
The guy who got real mad at me the last time I was on is going to be real fucking pissed. I think he said, the first time I was ever hurt by a comment said, will poopy pants ever finish a fucking sentence? Well, there, I just finished one, you fucking asshole.
I love the podcast that gets legitimately like wounded by our comments.
So fuck you. I'm Tom Payne. My pronouns are he, him. And just so you know, there is a power that I know that Nova has where you can be unpersoned. So you can be talking in the comments, be like, "Oh, I can't wait to make my latest comments on the YouTube page."
Yeah.
No, they were never made.
Not only do they
born.
remove the comments, they remove all of your comments you've ever made across this channel. You don't get a notification; they just go.
Yes.
You can keep talking, but you're talking into a void, much like the void that we see here.
I was about to say, what you see on the screen is a map with a spooky triangle on it.
It's bad map design.
Very spooky.
Yeah.
So, and this spooky triangle shouldn't be like that because it's basically just like every other piece of ocean out there, extremely dangerous in all the normal ocean ways. But this one has been made spooky by popular culture because people like to say horrible things happened here, and like half of them happened over here at Cape Hatteras.
or
right?
By the Azores.
Yeah. Today we're going to talk about the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh.
Is it a copyright strike?
Value. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I could just go over and start like hitting random keys on the piano until I get it right. The piano that is now where I keep my Star Trek books.
Hell yeah.
And yeah.
If we forget a Halloween episode, we'll just re-release this one.
I think we can come up with a second spooky thing.
Yeah, the North Atlantic rectangle.
Assuming things are still going in October, which we'll get to.
Yeah, in a segment that we call the goddamn news. Jarring shift in tone here. Very large earthquake in Myanmar and Thailand on March the 28th. Looking at like 2,700 people dead. God knows how many injured. Everyone was sending me this video, which was a huge skyscraper under construction fell down on video. I think in Bangkok.
But like, because Myanmar, Burma, is a completely closed country because of the military dictatorship and the civil war, very, very difficult to even find out what's happening, let alone to get aid in. I remember the Chinese Red Cross sent in a convoy that then somebody shot at.
Oh my God!
This is not the worst place for getting shot at if you're in the Red Cross or whatever. That's still Palestine.
I was about to say, what are they? The IDF?
I mean, I know that the Burmese, the dictatorship bought Pegasus spyware from Israel, so yeah, kind of.
I guess so. I'm just wondering, like, okay, you put up a building that tall.
Mm-hmm.
Surely you're following earthquake codes. I don't understand how this happens.
I assume it's just the same way it happens anywhere else, just corruption, which is you go, we're following the earthquake codes. not knowing or caring if the earthquake's going to happen because you're making your money now, and then building fall down.
And that kind of corruption that leads to like a spiritual corruption at the core of the nation, which leads to God's wrath.
Oh, exactly.
this is
right?
true, yeah.
But my name is not Tom Pangloss, by the way.
But yeah, it was a big earthquake too. It was like 7.7.
7.7, yeah. Which I mean, okay, there have definitely been earthquakes that big where the damage, it has not been incredibly catastrophic in quite the same way. Like I just don't expect buildings this big to fall down in earthquakes, but apparently I've been proven wrong. There's a certain size of building where I expect you to do your due diligence.
There's always a guy willing to undercut you. There's always a landlord, and I fucking hate landlords. I fucking hate landlords, partly because skyscraper collapsed, partly because mine's trying to kick me out of my home. But like, yeah. Also, like, I don't think of Myanmar as being a particularly like seismically active place, I guess. I mean, I know they have them, but like not huge ones like you think of in like the Pacific Rim or whatever, right?
Well, I mean, at least here in the United States, where we have international building code, and it's international because it's used in the United States and Canada.
Yeah, like the World Series.
Yeah, exactly. Even at places where earthquakes are comparatively rare, like the earthquake code is still the governing code. Like if you're putting up a new building like here in Philly, you're still like, preparing for it to withstand like a 7.0 because those do happen every couple hundred years.
Yeah, and I guess now is the couple of 100 years. Apparently, the skyscraper was still being built, so at least there weren't people.
That is, there were construction workers in there.
So 70 some odd missing, 30 some odd dead.
Jesus.
This does seem to be like a one-off. There wasn't any other collapse of this magnitude, to my knowledge.
I found myself fascinated by the number of infinity pool skyscrapers and the footage of them spilling their contents out to the street. That's a weird thing. I don't think it's been very common in earthquakes in the past.
That's a real like I've seen footage kind of moment, right? Like the For You page is lit. You're seeing a bunch of infinity pools get like dumped out onto the street. Bad time to be in the infinity pool.
Yeah,
that's maybe what's saving those buildings from falling down is that the infinity pool is acting as a tuned mass damper and therefore dampening the shaking of the building.
This is a structural infinity pool. Yeah.
So on the one hand, the infinity pool calls down God's wrath, causing the earthquake, but on the other, the infinity pool attenuates the experience of the earthquake. I guess my other question is
the infinity pool just gets increasingly more and more disgusting because you can't drain it to clean it because then the building would fall down.
Oh God, this is our building swamp. Just full of beer cans and shit.
Natural ecosystem.
What's that one lagoon that they built Lagos around that is just now filled with trash? It's like that, but like 50 stories up. My question was like, how, like, even if you're following the codes, right, whatever international codes there are, if you're still building it, how resilient can you plausibly make it? Or is that just because I don't know anything about construction?
I would figure, okay, so this appeared to be a reinforced concrete structure. So probably like the top two stories were still curing. Everything else should have been pretty close to final strength. I mean, after that, it's just interior furnishings and like, cladding.
And they're putting in the one easy chair that makes the building, proof against earthquakes.
Well, I suppose at the top two floors, like pancake, maybe that's too much weight. The whole thing comes down, but
I don't want to like preempt Nova's question, but had they entered the rigidification stage of construction, which I imagine is how they keep it.
The kind of Kerbal Space Program thing where once you've kind of constructed the frame, you put a bunch of struts on everything so it doesn't like wobble too much.
It just looks like you duct tape the whole thing together.
I mean, we might find that they didn't use any duct tape. I mean, that would be pretty concerning.
It's
maybe like off-brand duct tape.
Concrete and rebar, but no duct tape. Come on.
They use the like Soviet equivalent, that like sticky blue tape that isn't as good.
Well, I mean, if you hadn't installed the HVAC yet, then you definitely wouldn't be using any duct tape because duct tape is for ducks.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
What about goose tape?
They're for geese, yes.
Just
That's if
stop
you wanna-
taping geese, you maniac.
Taping geese together into a goose king.
Horrible. But that's the sequel to Untitled Goose Game, Untitled Goose King Game. It's a lot more body horror.
There's
It's a real
geese taped
betrayal of the
together.
anarchism the goose represented.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that just goes for part. Since Liam's not here, we could just say, that goes for par for anarchism.
Yes.
Betraying the revolution.
Yeah. Speaking of body horror, this killed overall, what, 5,000 people, we think? Maybe?
Last estimate I saw was 2,700 dead. I had no idea how many injured. Again, the estimates out of Myanmar/Burma, we don't know.
It's just a real bad time when you're already having a civil war. There's never a good time to have an earthquake, but I feel like if you're, dodging fucking kamikaze drones and shit, and you're like, man, I wish there was, something other than a civil war going on right now. And then you get your wish because God saw too many infinity pools.
Well, all I can say is, thank God I don't live in a closed country. In other news.
Wait, no, fuck. Sliders. Yeah.
Donald John Trump has restored stability to America's business community.
Oh, Jesus Christ. In a month's time, the Patreon is going to cost $200 just so we don't starve.
Yeah, it's if we raise the price, it's because of this. I'm sorry.
Please do not cancel your Patreons. Even if you are reduced to wearing a barrel and scavenging garbage, we also need money, please.
Listen,
well, honestly,
Diogenes is welcome to the Patreon.
It would be because Patreon increased fees.
Also, yes.
Yeah, Patreon tariffs.
Because Jack Conte from Pomplamoose also needs to eat.
Yeah, that's true. So our president has introduced a large number of these uniquely tailored reciprocal tariffs to all of the countries in the world, including those that are only inhabited by United States soldiers and including those which are only inhabited by penguins.
This is very troubling to me, a Marxist, because I thought for a long time, right, that capital does stuff, people don't do stuff. There's fucking deep states at work. There's material interests, and then I sat through 2 months of Trump wrecking American foreign policy. Decades worth of it without any foreign policy deep state assassinating him. And now he's doing the same for the economy. And I don't think the economy deep state's going to assassinate him either. So maybe just you can do whatever you want, and Marx failed to account for Orange Man bad.
These tariffs have been just sort of arbitrarily slapped on based on a very simple mathematical formula, which is trade surplus minus trade deficit over trade deficit or something like that.
Yeah, the deputy press secretary for the administration admitted this while trying to deny it, because he said no, it's not that, it's X minus Y over Z with some Greek symbols.
Yeah, with some there was some kind of elasticity modifier and some kind of other economic bullshit on the denominator. It was epsilon and a phi. I remember that much. And one of them was set at 4 and the other one was set at 1/4, which of course multiplies to 1.
There's the other thing is, if you ask ChatGPT how to balance the budget, this is what it will tell you to do verbatim.
Yes. And the list of countries is equivalent to list of country top level domains.
Can I ask about these countries? Because what's really, really bothering my OCD is they're not sorted by alphabet, the alphabetical name of the country.
No.
They're not sorted by the tariff charged to the United States, and they're not sorted by the tariff. There's no logical reason to the sorting. And that is to me absolutely fucking insane. No one there was like, all right, can we sort this table? No one knows how to sort a fucking table in whatever Canva or whatever bullshit they use now.
I wonder if it's volume of exports by value.
I really like the reciprocal tariffs drop shadow. That's cool. That's graphic design to me.
Yes.
I
Oh,
swear
yeah.
to fucking God. So yeah, like China's already doing like reciprocal tariffs. The EU is going to do reciprocal tariffs. This is going to cause a recession immediately. And it's going to be real bad, and anyone who thinks that it isn't is lying to themselves. However,
It's
I mean,
10% drop already, right?
yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah. Stonk's bad. I mean, it's a real kind of like listen up, liberal, crashes the economy.
yeah, this is the place where I am, because I started panicking about this a few weeks ago. After
Thanks for the heads
reading,
up.
yeah, well, I mean, I subscribe to very few publications I have to pay for. One of which is Railway Age, where I read an article about a letter that the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials sent to the president, saying, hey, we love you, we love government efficiency, we love all this stuff, because AASHTO is a pretty conservative trade organization overall.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, could you approve some of these environmental reviews that have to go through so we can get on with these highway projects?
Oh boy.
And that's when I realized, oh shit, we're just doing government by Control F. They just said, oh, that's environment, that's woke. We need to shut that down entirely.
They're doing it by
like,
edit fine. They don't know how Control F
yeah,
works.
exactly. So it's like, okay, no kind of approval for any kind of project that requires federal approval anywhere in the United States is going on. And that's public and private industry. Like, how are you supposed to do anything? Unless you just like decide, okay, I'm going to install my like multi-million-dollar, power generation unit, or a transformer, or a chemical process unit, or a blast furnace or something, without getting any kind of the legal approvals you need. Because just because they fired everyone doesn't mean the regulations are off the books. You still have to do compliance. I mean, even if the president says, look, I'm issuing an executive order, it says crime is legal now. You have to go then to get someone to underwrite your huge investment so that you can get a loan for it, which means you now have to go to Lloyd's of London and say, listen, I know we can't do any of the legal compliance. Maybe this will change in 4 years if the administration changes. But right now, get this, guys. Crime is legal now. How much to underwrite this shit?
Fucking God. I genuinely like. So what you're suggesting here is not just the podcast costs $200 a month, but also that we have to deliver it by telegraph because there's no electricity.
Yeah, this is where I am, is that like, okay, it's not so much like these tariffs are going to, cost the economy billions of dollars and you're going to lose your retirement savings. I'm looking at this, and combined with the demise of the regulatory state, these people aren't even going to be able to keep the power grid running. These people aren't going to keep water systems running. You're going to get cholera.
The preppers were right, but for the dumbest possible reason, and most of them voted for the guy who made it happen. I just okay, right. We got to keep going, right? Continuity of government. We got to have our own kind of Raven Rock situation here. The podcast keeps transmitting through the form of telegraphs, right? Or
ham
like
radios,
wax cylinders, ham radios, whatever the fuck it is, and then you mail us gold, like physical gold,
traveler's checks,
and by mail. Obviously, there's no postal service, so you do like Ancom. Like not even Ancom, like ANCAP, kind of. You form a contract with a bunch of mercenaries to like escort a convoy full of your gold to us every month.
All right,
and then you get a wax cylinder back.
Hear me out. I'm going to form some sort of like organization, some sort of compact. Maybe we can call it a company that I'm going to trade. Maybe with Britain, and since Britain's east of the United States, we'll call it like the East Britain Trade Company. And
this sounds like a flawless idea. Yeah.
And we're going to have paid, we're going to have not BlackRock. BlackRock will probably evolve too, but what is Z Academy? Blackwater called now. We're going to have Punisher Skull guys instead of like Royal Marines.
Yeah.
And we're going to have packets again, which I'm really excited, because packets like, oh, you like internet packets? You think TCP/IP is nice? No, we're going back to the original packet. Topsail schooners, and
Yeah.
just real fast ships that are weatherly and stiff by the board.
Any
Love it.
listener of ours who lives by a coast is going to be out on the widow's walk of their house looking for the packet.
for the
Wait-
podcast.
Waiting for the pod to come.
We'll have only a marginally worse release schedule than now.
And since tuberculosis will like the consumption will return, so we're gonna have a lot of like very romantic, dark hair, dark eyed like women on the widows. We're gonna be inclusive. It's gonna be everybody.
Yeah.
Just we're all gonna be like hot goths, but we're wasting away.
Yes.
And
Yeah. Without podcasts.
Oh, I declare, if I only had just one more listen to that podcast.
The thing is, right?
Just news that it was coming or not.
The other thing is, for a long time, it was like actually a really, really helpful thing to me because I live in Britain, which is a shithole country in a different way, slightly. But because of the podcast and thanks to listeners like you, NPR Voice, I get paid predominantly in dollars, which used to be great. And now I'm wearing the barrel of despair. So I'm not sure what to do about that. Can we make Patreon start charging in like renminbi?
I mean, theoretically, the tariff should be deflationary, but that is so far not played out.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens and what my like barrel status is. In the meantime,
you might be wearing a gilded barrel.
Yeah. In the meantime, all I can ask is please do not cancel your Patreon, no matter how desperate your finances get personally.
Yes.
And please do not die of cholera, or if you do die of cholera, keep it so like auto renews for as long as possible.
Yeah,
I'm on the cholera cot, like just waiting. I'm laying in bed. My wife is doing the widow's walk.
Yeah.
Longingly out to sea.
You're having a horrible cholera death. You're vomiting, you're coughing, you're pissing, you're shitting, and then your phone like goes off, and you're like, "Oh, well, that's your problem." And then you go back to the coughing and so forth.
Well, no, it's coming over on the packet ship.
Oh, yeah, of course.
With our privateers who all have scurvy.
I mean, it's weird with Britain specifically because on the one hand, weirdly, the Brexit people were right in the sense that Trump is much madder at the EU than he is at us. And so they get double the tariffs that we do. But on the other hand, when the EU invents the European equivalent to Patreon, obviously we are not invited, right? And a bunch of rimless glasses guys in grey suits are going to be laughing at me in my barrel.
All those smug airport fucks.
Like it's going to be a bunch of smug airport fucks inventing voila votre problème, and then I'm gonna be over here starving to death like you motherfuckers.
We're all gonna be at the airport in barrels as like some fucking Italian in a goddamn suit. Just wanders by, perfectly tousled, hair, looks like he just he spent 8 hours on it, but it looks like he just just mocking us,
I really do appreciate though.
La bruta figura.
This will fully make Britain into Revachol, and I appreciate that much. It's also one thing particularly is it's a war on treats, right? Like and guys like Lutnick and Besant say this openly that like what they want is to get America off of its fix of like cheap treats, cheap debt, and all the rest of it, right? Which is a little bit like saying I need to get away from my like I have rigged a poker deck and being like I got to get off this like ace fixation of mine. But it also specifically it's a shoe detox because after the last round of tariffs, Nike, Adidas, and a bunch of others moved all of their production out of China because China was going to get tariffed up the ass to Vietnam and Taiwan. Which, as you see here, are rows 3 and 4 on the beautiful Canva chart.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't move a shoe factory very easily. You can't hire labor for a shoe factory very easily. Americans don't want to sew shoes together. And it's not economical to pay American wages to do that.
I'm going to paperclip a bunch of Italian cobblers. They still have cobblers in that nation.
There are American sweatshops, but they're still more expensive to run, and the conditions are horrible.
Yeah, you're gonna have to buy exclusively American footwear, which in practice means like 3 different boot manufacturers. So if you're a big White's like Pacific Northwest logging boot type of guy, this is gonna be great for you. If you're a Georgia boot stan, then yeah, sure. But
the Red Wing guy, the Buy It for Life Reddit guy.
Yeah.
Oh, these in
the
land of
smuggest man in
tariffs
America before he heard about this and is now kind of achieving exit velocity and heading somewhere towards fucking Venus.
Everyday carry guys right now are just absolutely just they're pumped. They're pumped.
Yeah.
The three things that you build in America.
My meat and cheese budget is going to go through the roof. I'm this is going to seriously affect me.
I'm not buying American pasta. Fuck that.
Yeah, exactly.
One of the dumbest guys in a crowded field, Tim Pool. I saw him tweet yesterday. We should just ban all imports until we figure out what's going on. And it's like, okay, cool. Enjoy finding a place in America where you can grow coffee. That'll be great.
Yep.
Or like bananas.
What did they use during the Civil War? Was it carob or some bullshit like that?
Like chicory or something. Yeah,
chicory. Yeah. I love like our life is going to be conditions in fucking Andersonville.
I'm looking at Trump here, and he doesn't look great as well. He looks like a photo negative of Ronald McDonald.
I was going to say he reminds me of Mr. Popo from Dragon Ball Z. We're getting a little Al Jolson here, Donnie.
yeah, he looks like Roger in season 1 of Mad Men. It's uncomfortable. Like, it's real bad is the thing, and I don't know what's going to happen because like logically. This has already crashed the economy, right? And everybody who knows is like this is going to cause a recession. The Trump thing to do would be to back down off this after a month, right? But he's done this whole like Liberation Day thing. He had a chart made, and so now it's like an ego trip as well. Because if he like backs down off of it, it's his fault. He can't blame somebody else for it.
Now, again, 3 or 4 months from now won't matter because we'll have died of cholera.
The cholera. Yeah.
I mean, we're already dying of measles. I mean, that's happening. It's
that's true. Well, RFK is going to come out, and a worm is going to say cholera is good for you.
Yeah.
And
it's going to use that instead of Ozempic because we can't import anything from Denmark anymore.
That's a good point. Yeah.
not to fixate on myself, but it's just I don't know everybody else's situation, but it's really shitty timing for me that the economy collapses right as I'm about to get kicked out of my apartment. I really don't like that because not only do I have to wear the barrel, I also then have to live in the barrel. And while that's convenient in one sense, it's like it also sucks, you know.
That does suck. That these sort of situations like put people on the spot.
Yeah, I mean the worst is I guess the worst off besides Nike is if you're a guy who like runs a small business that exports a lot to the US in like I don't know Vietnam, right, or whatever the one beneath Malaysia is that's getting a 49% tariff. The fucking McDonald Islands with all the penguins or whatever. Because that's basically just like God has seen your metaphorical infinity pool and has like shattered it, right?
Here's the other thing.
We're taxing the islands. Oh, sorry, Russ.
Because of the rise of craft beer and especially barrel-aged beers, barrels are expensive now.
Fuck! What am I get? What the fuck am I gonna wear?
Listen, it's a shame that the beer supply company I worked for back in the day is out of business now. I think they sold the building to a Zionism store. So
getting a great deal on like a used barrel, like a Herman Miller chair that you just find dumped on the sidewalk after a beer business has gone bankrupt.
And there's going to be like what I like is the barrel is going to also show your status. So like do you have a claret barrel? Do you have a Malmsey? Yeah, you have weird names for wines over there that like no, it's Bordeaux. I don't know why. Like I know why you call it claret, but it's fucking Bordeaux. Like it's like us.
You have a used bourbon barrel that
it's going to be too expensive. It's going to be too expensive.
No, this one was used for stout like 6 times over.
You're gonna have to get sherry barrels. You're gonna have to use Hungarian oak. You fucking.
I'm gonna have to have cholera inside like an oak barrel.
But it's not even going to be good oak. It's Hungarian oak. It's the one that no one wants. It's not French. It's not American.
No, it's going to be too expensive due to the tariffs.
Well, no, Hungarian oak's going to be cheap because Orban, right?
Yeah,
so we'll have the oak connection.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude! I don't. Something needs to happen Otherwise, there's something needs to happen in between me and the barrel, you know, like, because otherwise it's a straight line. Please continue to value comedy podcast in your budget.
Pushing the button that resurrects Lennon, just like burning my finger out, tapping that fucking button.
I've had that shit taped down since I was a teenager. Please come back. Going to the mausoleum and getting like kicked out by the guards because I'm trying to shake him and both of his shoulders are coming off.
You go in there with a defibrillator.
Has anyone tried it? It might work. No one's tested if there's an upper time limit on those things.
And if you ever make that joke, you of course, this is what you fucking get in response. You go, you know, Lennon deserves his rest. It's time for you to no, I can't. No, the conditions are too different.
The conditions are different. It's hard. I like treats. And also, I was told by a poster once that Lennon lived, Lennon lives, and Lennon will live forever. And I choose to take that 100% literally. Please stop touching Lennon. I'm about to defibrillate him.
Yeah. Clear.
I played Battlefield 2 as the medic class at an impressionable age.
Yep.
Listen, I grew up Catholic. I know what incorruptibility of the saints means.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. God, we didn't even touch that on the Catholicism episode. We should have done. Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, Saint Lennon.
Yeah.
That's a cool band name, by the way. You can thank
Saint Lennon is like a belief that like a bunch of South American grandmas have, I think. Like equally radicalized by liberation theology and Che Guevara. So you're like, well, I'm pretty certain that like Lenin was a saint.
You know what? I fuck with that. Like, let's go.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can make them in America until we run out of bees, which will probably happen.
That's happening too.
Yeah, it's also happening too. Yeah.
We're all going to be fucking. We're going to evolve fingers with bristles at the end. Because we're pollinate by hand.
from reaching out from our barrels to
we're gonna become turtle. You know what? It's gonna be the cancerification. You know, we're gonna become crab.
You know, as Donald Trump said, he went out there and he said Liberation Day or like all hail the new flesh. I mean, it's really funny looking at what stocks have gone up as well, because it's Philip Morris, Ambev, and Campbell's Soup. Right. So it may as well get futures in like United Bindle.
Yeah, you know,
making the mice and men real.
Probably some barrel manufacturers, Coopers, excuse me. Yeah,
There's like 6 of them left.
In a gold rush, sell picks and shovels. In a recession, sell barrels.
The people, they told me they're going to live in barrels. And I said, it's going to be tough, but sometimes you have to do it.
Yeah, my portfolio is 50% cooperage.
I don't even want to look at what the
look at the calendar. 1850.
You know what? I'm gonna go to the PESR's, the Pennsylvania State Education Retirement Fund meeting and say, hey, we should be probably getting in the barrels right now.
Get into Coopers, get into burlap sacks, get into what else?
Start burying gold in your yard. Start getting into shoes that are like comically coming apart at the sole and the toe.
Weird depression shit, like saving scraps of fat from meat. That, my grandma had tubs of that shit in her freezer. Reusing aluminum foil.
You can make a nice stock out of them.
A hearty stew.
Yeah. You could
saving dirty old underwears for rags.
This is gonna be a great time if you're a cobbler.
Yeah, learn a trade.
Yeah, shoe shining maybe.
The Dutch are going to be really going to do well on this.
Great to be an urchin.
Yeah, it's a good time to be an urchin.
Newsy caps, like invest in like Mucross, like the Irish weaving.
You could be a muckracker. You could be. Buy a metal
yellow journalism is back. Boys who can yell extra riddle about it. We got to find more of those. That's going to be real. That's the future.
I was thinking the original sense of the muckracker, where you're trying to find valuable items that people dropped in the Thames.
It's all clay pipe stems. What the fuck?
It's all old turds. The ones that when they sent Queen Victoria out on her Thames cruise, they were like, "Oh, to shield her eyes from the turds."
Batting
shit.
it away with an oar.
What is it? Anything good? Nah, just another dockless e-bike.
Something I was thinking of. Speaking of like the Lenin button, there's going to be a button somewhere in the stock exchange once like the New York what's the name of the fucking stock? Is it New York City Stock Exchange? I don't remember what the
New York
acronym
Stock
is.
Exchange. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, NYSE. When it drops below a certain number, they're going to push a button, and then in the Triangle Shirtwaist Building, like they're going to flip over, and there's going to be women at their knitting, and machines chained to their desk. All the entire building, all the exits will become sealed.
Yeah.
The bathrooms are locked.
Yep.
Manufacturing is coming back. I mean,
isn't that building's currently like
NYU
it's
apartment?
probably
NYU
fucking
apart-
WeWork or
yeah.
something.
No, it's owned by
I like the
NYU.
WeWork in the haunted fucking sweatshop.
It is the worst week for US stocks since COVID.
Well, this is the result of policies developed by people who have never done anything other than send emails. They don't know what works.
Post about woke. Post about this is the like reaction vids. Like I watched Star Trek and there was a black person and I got like now Star Trek's woke and like getting 300,000 likes from people who've never watched Star Trek. I'm shoehorning Star Trek into the thing today, but First Contact Day is tomorrow.
Look, we're gonna.
Hell yeah.
I guess we're gonna increase the tariffs, and then AI will tell us how to bring back manufacturing.
I mean, First Contact Day, really funny time for it to happen for real. Just like we are just about to like fuck ourselves into barrel apocalypse, and intelligent life shows up as just like
shows up and they
hey
see
guys, how's it going?
Whole society of people wearing barrels, and they're like the strange customs they have here.
Yeah, you're like in their Star Trek as like Monster of the Week barrel planet for the rest of fucking like intergalactic history. You're trying to shake it. You're like it was a one-time thing when you did First Contact. It's not fair, but they don't matter. It doesn't matter. You're barrel people to them.
It's the real First Contact because in the film he launches on what appears to be a modified Titan II. And the Titan II using its extremely toxic hypergolic propellant would have killed everybody in like that little shitty shanty town around. So they might have to live in barrels after that. No one really talks about shit like that.
One of my favorite original series episodes, Piece of the Action. Kirk drops down to Gangster Planet, 1930s Gangster Planet, where they're all like, yeah, see? And he has to get them to like join the Federation by being like, the Federation is like Al Capone. That's so like aliens showing up in the Trump administration in like 2025. That's a very similar vibe, I feel, to like, you have caught us at a bad time. You are catching our planet in the Nazi comedy gangster era.
Yeah,
it's the same strategy I use to teach my students poetry. It's like me sitting down, like I sit backwards on the chair, like, all right, we're gonna learn about poetry, but you know what? The real poetry is of the streets, man. You guys like hip hop? That's but you know what? Chaucer had bars too. All right, and we're gonna work on this real rap, right? I hope I killed some Zoomers with that a little bit.
You know who else was no cap for real?
Yeah, keep it the bean.
Fucking James Joyce.
All right, kids, we're gonna read some letters James Joyce wrote.
Oh no,
oh no.
Don't do that. If you don't know what that's about, don't do that. Don't read James Joyce's letters.
No, don't. Yeah,
to Nora, whatever.
Nora. The article or whatever her fucking
the man wanted to do some things and have some things done to him that you don't need to read about.
No,
you don't need that knowledge in your life.
They were happy together with that, and that's great for them.
Yes, exactly.
I don't even know if it is. I
mean, you're gonna get pink eyes. That's all. And that's going to be lethal now because we won't have antibiotics.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you already have the cholera and be in the barrel.
Mm.
That's what's going to happen when the Federation shows up. It's going to be like, it's a planet full of people wearing barrels. They all have cholera.
Imagine
They
that's
don't
the
even have
first.
electricity. They clearly had it recently, but they don't now.
Like, we're gonna set up an observation post here on planet Sol 3, and they're like, let's look at their cultural documents. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
wow.
never mind. Yeah.
Oh,
You'd be
what's
like, well, this clearly was a culture worth exploring like a few weeks ago, but
Yeah.
I think we're just going to go in and steal a library and be done with it.
We're gonna hear the
begging.
Prime Directive here. They're clearly not advanced enough, but sometimes we save the ones like, remember that one with the volcanoes? You know what? That was a mistake. We're gonna call mulligan on that. This one, Prime Directive. The planet's melting. We're just gonna have to. You know what?
You're going to have to.
I read those
pass that
fucking
one.
letters. God damn this
begging.
universal translator.
Begging them to violate the Prime Directive.
The word
Please.
fart. The word fart is universal. It's in every fucking species in this fucking galaxy. We all have a word for fart.
All right. Well, that will be the consequence of Trump again restoring stability to America's business community.
Thank you,
that
President Trump,
was-
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Donald John Trump.
You're
that
welcome.
was-
I hope you enjoy.
That was the goddamn news.
By following on from that, we got some tour announcements.
Tour announcements.
We're doing a tour. We're doing a tour of the northeastern United States. However, as you may be aware, the United States border, worse to cross than ever, to the point that
That's because the business environment is so stable.
yeah, the business environment is so stable that I have had multiple people ask and some beg me not to try to come to the US. And I was
to quote a lawyer with a podcast on the internet. Stop emailing me.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we did seek legal advice on this and some like expert advice from people who are in a position to know. And for a while, we were going to try and tough it out and be like, well, fuck it, we're gonna go to the embassy. They're going to misgender me, whatever the fuck. Now we know to the point that like I really don't want to get like a Salvadoran involuntary haircut. So
It's kind of like if you're. Well, Riley said this on Trash Future, but I was thinking it in parallel. It's like, okay, if you're like 99% certain you're not going to go to Salvadorian prison,
yeah,
you don't go.
Yeah,
that's a bad number.
Yeah. So we will figure out some Edward Snowden telepresence shit.
Yes, exactly.
We'll put a little barrel on the robot to represent my like attire at the time as well. And
I'll just have to bring the guns over to you.
Yeah,
I'll just have to smuggle my firearms into the UK.
Yeah. It's always fun to see me go on the watch list for a change. Yeah.
We'll probably have to bleep that.
Yeah, but so I'm just gonna remote in for the shows, and it fucking sucks because
it's
what a fucking piece of cognitive dissonance apart from anything else to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of bed today, I'm gonna walk into like assuming I'm still in this apartment, I'm gonna walk into the like office and I'm gonna call in to Broadway, like I might be the first person to play like a Broadway theater and not have to wear pants, which is I don't know, maybe some kind of an achievement, but it fucking sucks real bad. And I really hope.
What about Daniel Radcliffe?
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah,
why not take your barrel, right? You go to Canada, being in a Commonwealth nation, you'll be welcome there.
Yeah.
And then you use your barrel to go over Niagara Falls.
There. And just hope I end up on like the US side on the bottom. Yeah, interesting. Border Patrol couldn't do shit to me. Like,
no, I don't think that's ever been addressed. So it's like a legal gray area.
Hell yeah,
like killing somebody in Yellowstone.
It's simple. You just have to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Yeah, no, I wish things were different, and I wish things became different in a hurry. Due to this fucking sucks, and I am sorry.
I'm hoping that at some point in the future we get a political thaw where this is not so risky.
For real. I mean, I also want to get you guys out to.
We need an American Khrushchev.
Yeah. But like,
who will be America's cruise ship?
I am going to pitch a European tour just so we can actually be on stage all at one
that
time.
would be nice, yeah.
Because so far we're an extremely resilient podcast in the sense of like the two Coke executives who aren't allowed to fly on the same plane. But other than that, there are some drawbacks. So
yes.
We will do the shows as planned, but I'm gonna be a laptop probably, or
and
one of those telepresence robots.
I'm looking forward to, because of the prices in the UK being what they are, like the tour of like the WTYP live in Bradford.
Yeah,
live
Cool.
in, I don't know, what's another shitty town?
Blackpool.
Just
Let's
name
go to
any.
Blackpool.
Just open up Google Maps.
I'm looking at
We're gonna go to Great Yarmouth.
Crew.
We're gonna go
in
to
Stoke.
Newcastle.
Oh, we're Telford. There's a Telford near me. That's probably
the colonization, probably.
Folks, we're gonna go to Inverness.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Colonization?
Yeah, like there's a reason why like all of your place names are all the same as our place names.
Shit.
And so you have a bunch of like shithole towns named like new shithole town.
Yeah.
Well, there's
that's
your
fucking
problem.
wild.
Cycling tour of North Cornwall.
Yo, I thought it was the
Sounds
other way
pretty good,
around. Actually, I would fuck with that. I'm not going to say, but there are people with my last name in power in Cornwall that I'm wondering are related
like
to
the
me.
shadow government.
Like in some like town council in like far southwest like Cornwall.
Okay.
And I'll be like, hey, we have the same last name. It's not very common. So I wonder if so right
Anyway,
now, are there any pains in Cornwall? Googling furiously to try and find and get a step ahead of me. I'm on to you.
Anyway, so tickets are still available for our show in beautiful New York City on April 29th. Those have been discounted. Tickets are still available for our show in Philadelphia at the Fillmore, where we do have to fill more seats. Again, we do have to do this in the complicated way, where there may be technical difficulties. I apologize, but you should blame the president and also all the conservative members of your family.
This is
yell
true.
at them right now.
This is absolutely true, and I want you to make a huge problem about it at Thanksgiving.
Yes, that will be your problem.
Yes,
you can.
Yes,
if you're also a 10,000 Lawsons listener, we have amassed quite the goon squad on our Discord. So we will be sending escorts. Not that kind of goon squad, over.
You say Discord goon squad to me.
I mean, listen, a couple of these guys. I mean, probably make a stay. Shouts out Charlie. What's up? Shouts out Wayne. Probably. I mean, maybe I don't know. But yeah, they could stand there and look tough wearing their like FC Celtic gear.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I just need, like, the goon squad will really come into its own when executive power in the US declines to the point that like there's no border patrol. It's like a series of militias, and you just get the like Pennsylvania Secret Service to like muscle me through whatever checkpoint. That's going to be ideal, aside from the Civil War part.
Well, we just gotta boost the Patreon so you can fly private across the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh my fucking god!
Or take some sort of packet.
Yeah,
packet.
Yeah. Do you think airport security is like cooler than airport security?
Yeah,
they gotta be.
Take the next packet out of Cork. I mean, that's still part of the empire, right?
I arrived on a tramp steamer.
You had to come in through Ellis Island.
Show up 4 weeks late. Well, they changed my name at Ellis Island, not for any like ethnic reasons, but because they like believed it was dumb as hell, and they were right.
Just hopefully your packet doesn't go through a certain body of water.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, which is the subject of today's podcast, which
50 minutes
in, yeah.
We had a lot to talk about. The economy crash. We were all going to be wearing barrels.
Yeah, we're all going to have cholera.
It's a lot. It's a lot to take in like once,
Yes.
one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got the guy who's image attribution. I stole this from the Civilization wiki.
Right. Wow. Okay. Looking real airbrushed. Drop the skincare routine, King.
What is the Bermuda Triangle? Well, take it away, Tom.
Well, it's there's this like island called Bermuda, right? and
Yes.
it's named after this guy named Jose de Bermuda, which I never
Awful
feel-
haircut.
yeah, real smug.
He got the bob, which is a
Yeah.
weird combination with that beard texture.
He looks like the new Willy Wonka, but with a beard.
He's got the blush going on. Yeah.
Mhm.
Maybe he's just encountered a member of the Goon Squad and he's a little intrigued. That's hence the blood. So Jose de Bermudez is a Spanish name, which comes from the Old Spanish Bermudo, which comes from the Swabian Weramund, which comes from the Proto-Germanic. It's a compound of Proto-Germanic words Wijas and Mundo, which Wijas Mundo, which means sacred protector. And this comes from Proto-Indo-European. This comes from oh shit, I forgot to look up pronounce the laryngeals. We have Wakos plus the ending Manta. Sure. And this is an interesting thing. It kind of translates to hand that sifts those who would be sacrificed.
Damn, significantly cooler name.
Oh, kill them all and let God sort them out.
And it's cognate
Kill a
with the
god and
Latin.
let this guy sort them out.
And it's cognate with the Latin victim.
Huh.
So maybe for like God has a sense of irony, or the Proto-Indo-Europeans did. And anyway, so that's where Bermuda comes from. And then triangles, those are shapes. and
I'm learning so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I pull this one up for me, Jamie. Yeah, my mind's blown. Learning this thing. Triangles, 3 sides, right? 180 degrees.
Wow.
Wow. That's wild, man. And it comes from Latin, triangulum. That is how you actually would have pronounced it. I don't know if Latin nerds know that. I'm not doing any fucking ecclesiastical pronunciation. Fucking Italians, get the fuck out of here. And it's a nasal that um. So it's the Imperial Romanorum. Fucking yell at the Romans. Winnie weedy weeky.
It sounds better in my opinion.
It kind of makes sense that French came from that bullshit.
Oh yeah, they just add extra letters at the end.
You just nasalize the fuck out everything.
Yeah.
So it comes from Latin. It's a compound. Tres plus angulus.
All right. Well, what do each of those mean?
3 in angle.
Oh, fuck, okay.
And that comes from
where do those come from?
That comes from Proto-Indo-European Treyes, and then we don't know exactly how it was pronounced, but like Hongolos.
I'm not mentally recasting every kind of Roman in my head as sounding a bit French. I'm not doing that.
You have to.
I'm not gonna fucking like come up with like a Cicero, you know.
Listen, I have seen a lot of films from the 1960s about Romans, and
they sound British.
They all sound like Brits. Yeah,
yeah, they're British. They're English people.
And the patricians sound very posh, and the plebeians sound like real geezers.
Yeah, I saw that documentary they made in ancient Rome called Rome.
Ben
What's up? Shouts out Polly Walker. What are you up to? Jesus Christ. Anyway, so both of these, all these, what's really kind of cool is these Proto-Indo-European terms. They all come from Turkic, which is the original language. So that's really
okay.
Cool.
Sure. So what I'm learning is that Bermuda is the rightful territory of Turkey.
Exactly. And,
I guess so.
Shouts out to my Grey Wolves. Let's go through that.
I don't know if we can shout out the Grey Wolves.
All right,
I think there's already a podcast that does that.
I was accused of stealing Cumtown bits, so I guess I'm now stealing Chapo Valor too.
Yeah, it's like a combination of like we get cancelled for the like fascist terrorist organization, and we get cancelled for like biting Chapo.
By the way, Felix, I'm better at Flight Simulator than you. I'm much better at it.
My Andrew Cuomo impression is stolen. It's an impression of Nick Mullen doing Andrew Cuomo.
To be fair, that's half my.
I have Felix blocked, and I don't even remember why I did that. I don't remember what I was mad at him about.
I still listen to their podcast.
That's one of the few I still listen to as well.
Yeah.
Although, Matt Christmas, shouts out. Hope your brain's doing good.
If you don't know the context of that, that's a really funny thing to say.
I mean that unironically.
No,
I
no,
do.
no.
I
I know.
like
I just
that.
mean like if you didn't know that,
Yeah.
like why you were saying that, it'd be like that. You know, who the fuck is this guy?
This is it's happened to enough people in the podcasting sphere, the left wing podcasting sphere, that I'm like, we all got to be on the lookout.
I'm concerned.
Anyone with like one of those like sound guns, like on the NFL sidelines, if they're pointing that at you, you fucking, that's the heart attack gun. That's the
oh yeah, the fucking Havana syndrome. No question.
That's gonna fucking clot your blood from 20 paces.
No joke. When I was recording No Gods No Mares, nogodsnomares.com, in earlier in the afternoon, I had a little like kind of fucking neurological event thing where I got like a weird headache on one side and I felt a bit loopy for a second. I was like, this is it. They got me. They got me with the fucking like Havana syndrome gun.
Podcaster brain is happening to me.
Yeah. Which and like I said, it'd be a very like on brand way to go out, and it would spare me the barrel, which I would appreciate. But you know, I am keen to live a long and healthy life.
Spare the
even
barrel,
if I don't have a child like
podcaster.
I want to see the barrel times. I just think it'll be, you know, I got to live longer just to see how it ends.
Genuinely, it's like I came in at like, you could have walked into the theater at any point in this movie, but you came in and you got to see the ending. Like, that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but anyway, I mean, I guess we're an hour in. That's where the Bermuda Triangle. That's where it comes from. And,
okay, cool. Good podcast. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, safety third.
Yeah, sure. I keep getting mixed up because I still have the drop of Eric Adams comparing himself to Jesus and getting booed by everyone in New York.
I mean, you do both.
I can do that instead of shake hands with danger.
You know, when Jesus was on the cross, he said, "God forgive them, for they know not what they do."
Oh, he fully says the word in there.
Oh,
well, yeah.
I
forgot that he said that. Well, we're gonna have to cut that, I guess.
Oh yeah, we clicked the next slide. Oh look,
yes.
There's a all right. So this is the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
Oh, so those are the points of the triangle are Miami, Bermuda, San Juan. That's bullshit. First of all, because like if you like drown off the waterfront in Miami Beach, that means you die in the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, technically, that one train that derailed and killed everyone on the overseas railway was a Bermuda Triangle accident. Except it wasn't, because again, most of the accidents and disasters attributed to the Bermuda Triangle actually happened at Cape Hatteras.
And the issue here with the Bermuda Triangle is it's non-Euclidean, and that's where you get some Cthulhu shit, because that's clearly yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's spherical geometry, right? The angles are going to add up to more than 180.
Which is my favorite thing when he's like in the mountains of Madness, when he's describing the weird non-Euclidean geometry of this alien base in Antarctica. That just means it's got circles, you idiot. It's got fucking globes.
Euclid didn't know what a circle was.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have this
hyperbolic geometry. It could be also radial geometry, which is just the same, but you know the coordinate system's different.
2 pi r squared or whatever. I'm not a math guy. This is also known as
radian.
Also known as the Devil's Triangle, which is also known as the Eiffel Tower. And but the term is coined, you can click, by this guy named Vincent Gaddis.
Whoa.
There we go.
Hairline like a puzzle piece.
Oh yeah. This is he's got the same hairline I do. And if I was a coward and wouldn't recognize what God has designed for my hair, what my ancestors have given me, I would look like that, but I'm not a coward. Also I don't write dumb shit in art in the February 1964 issue of Argosy magazine.
The fuck is Argosy magazine?
It's a magazine that lasted from the 19th century till 2016.
Jesus, it was like the Atlantic or whatever.
Yeah, but for like pulp shit.
Huh. Okay.
So it was in its pulp era. Kind of like, have you ever heard of like the 14 Times, like Charles Ford?
Yeah. Like weird occultist shit.
Yeah, kind of. So he
whatever.
Parapsychology and ancient aliens and so he's kind of in that bailiwick. I don't know why that was the first word that came to my mind, but He was like, so he coined the term Bermuda Triangle, but he wasn't the first like person to come up with it.
But he did it in this magazine. So this is a post, basically. This is a
Yeah.
This is an X post, right? Like it's
Yes.
a conspiracy thread.
They used to pay you for them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you used to be able to make a living as a crank in this country.
Oh, for sure. And you know what his big thing was? Like the Bermuda Triangle, and his other thing was spontaneous human combustion.
Whoa.
So real good brain on this guy.
You ever find a case of spontaneous human combustion in the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh shit.
That's always been like, I didn't realize that was fake until fairly recently.
Spontaneous human combustion?
I have an aunt who, if she listens to that song, the Incubus song that mentions it, she like starts freaking out. She's like, turn it off. Like she genuinely is afraid if she thinks about it, it's gonna happen to her.
Oh, I mean, I used to get that when I was a kid because I read about it and I was like, oh,
she's
fuck,
70.
That's I mean, 70-year-olds are like children in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, actually, no, that was probably just someone smoking in bed.
She also
like
one
all
time
of them are.
that's what they all were.
You look into this and it's like some like person who's like, well, time to douse myself in kerosene, as is my habit, and then get into this big easy chair and smoke my evening cigarette and then fall asleep.
My kids are trying to take my cigarettes away, and I told them that I don't no.
My grandma.
I'll die without my cigarettes.
I think my grandma could have spontaneously human combusted if she'd been a bit less careful, because when she had the cancer, she was on an oxygen tank, and she was also a lifelong chain smoker, and like she did not stop smoking when she had the oxygen tank. It was just like a mask. And I'm just like, if those two sort of like actions had ever like order of operations happened in the wrong order, I worry that she would have like blown up the house, which she did not do, mercifully.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That just shouts out
shit.
Real daredevil shit, like
shouts out to people like that. Shouts out. I might have mentioned this girl before on a previous episode. Shouts out to the girl who used to sit on the can of trichloroethylene next to the oxygen and hydrogen tanks while she was pregnant and smoke cigarettes.
Hell yeah. That's excellence.
You can't just wow, like what a woman.
I think women can do anything.
Me too. Especially go to space unintentionally. That's what would have happened. I actually wonder what was more dangerous to that child, than sitting on the can of trichloroethylene or the cigarettes.
I feel like there's stuff in that like make the cigarettes pretty like mild.
Yeah.
Like entire generations survived being brought up with like chain smoking wombs.
Up and out.
It's like it used to be like, fucking 4 out of 5 gynecologists would be like, yeah, fuck it, smoke, don't care. It'd probably be good for you, baby. I'm making cool.
4 out of 5 doctors say Virginia Slims prevents hysterical. What was it called when the womb was supposed to move around?
Like hysteria, literally.
Hysteria.
Like
Hysteria.
Prevents hysteria and the fairest sex. Yeah. Although that's kind of crazy. Like imagine like you're having sex and then she starts getting hysteria. It's like, holy shit, took my dick off. What the fuck?
Where the fuck did it go? I mean, that is a mass delusion of like penis theft. Like it's a thing. By the way, in the course of reading about spontaneous human combustion, one of the skeptic things that I read is like, pretty easy to disprove in the sense that there's like 8 billion people walking around, and you don't see somebody like burst into flames at Starbucks very often. In fact, ever. And I'm like, no, but it would be fucked up if that did happen, though.
Yeah,
like,
that would be pretty funny.
Was that Rational Wiki? Were you on Rational Wiki?
No, I was on the regular, normal, irrational type wiki, but there's a quote in there from Benjamin Radford and suggested explanations.
Let's bring them back. We're bringing back the skeptics. Rational Wiki. I'm right, but I'm really going to be a fucking annoying prick about it.
No, I was on Conservapedia.
It's the real encyclopedia.
Yeah.
We need a really like partisan antidote to both Conservapedia and Rational Wiki, because I don't want it to be rational. I want it to be like abject propaganda. I want Wokepedia. I want the like, most like left wing take on any possible thing.
Well, I assume because it's a left-wing project, there's 45 of them.
Yeah. And the most complete one would be fucking Trots. That's the one that's
in
going to
his
be the most complete.
1976 book, Fire from Heaven, UK writer Michael Harrison suggests that SHC is connected to poltergeist activity.
Oh, I didn't consider that.
No,
Wow, that makes
neither
sense,
did
though.
I.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
I hope the poltergeists don't think that I'm like taunting them.
Well, you are in any nation that has like a building that where you describe it as having rising damp is severely haunted.
Oh, no question. Whole country's haunted, I think.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, this guy invented spontaneous human combustion and the Bermuda Triangle.
Well,
he's
I
like
don't know if he
Midgley for
I don't know if he
conspiracies.
invented SHC, but he was like a proponent of it.
I shouldn't have called it SHC. Like abbreviating it makes it sound like a real like a syndrome, Like
That's probably what they call it on like their like Facebook pages.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because you can't just be saying spontaneous human combustion all the time.
No, it's too many words.
Yeah.
It's all fucking Latin too. Roz, you can go to the next slide. I think it's your slide. I mean, I put the image on there.
You put the image in. Yeah, the weather in the Bermuda Triangle, where one of the things is, it's generally speaking, this is where the hurricanes go.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad a lot of the time, or at least during hurricane season. The weather can change very rapidly. Now, this is also the case with a lot of the rest of the ocean. Should not be surprising that there's a lot of incidents with ships and airplanes here, because this is where the storms are, especially when the forecasting is bad.
Yeah. My favorite ones are like the ones that like the one that goes over the UK and it does a little loop-de-loop and just like fuck you Denmark. Yeah,
just like stunting on us.
Yeah, it does the little fucking loop. Like you got some moves there, doing some acrobatics.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it's gonna go and fuck up a little bit of Oslo first, and then.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of like Danish grandmas like with memories of like the great, the most funny, the funniest named disaster in the world, the Grota Mondrinka or whatever.
Like the great damp.
Yeah.
It drizzled a little more than normal.
Yeah, like if you want, like if you think Dutch is funny, try out Low German. That's another really funny sounding one too. It's almost English, but just extra funny. But yeah, look, there's those are tracks of tropical storms. So
they have really big storms. They come through, they make a loop, they go out to Europe. Usually they dissipate before they make it there. Sometimes they do fun stuff like, they go fuck up the islands pretty frequently. They fuck up Florida. Sometimes they come up the East Coast and fuck us up. Then maybe they go and hit Montreal for some reason.
Yeah, they go for some reason. They form like and just punish Spain.
Yes, exactly. Fun. They go into Spain.
I feel like it being like the Bermuda Triangle is real as like the wrong conspiracy guy angle to take. If I wanted to be a conspiracist here, the one I would do is what you were looking at as a history of like US weather control experiments,
they all
open your
just
third
sort of
eye.
Most of them bend away.
Yeah, curious,
how convenient,
right? Interesting.
How convenient.
Yeah.
This fucking conspiracy theory. First off, the Earth is flat, so westerlies and Hadley cells are not real.
Yeah. That's right.
It's all emanations from the firmament.
Plus, of course, the US's well-known enmity to Spain, dating back to the Freemasons and stuff.
The problem with this theory is that what you're saying is the United States has a secret weather machine. And get this, they're using it to benefit us.
Well, that would explain why America's oldest ally, Morocco, has only been like hit once.
Yeah.
Whereas the perfidious Spaniards, on the other hand, any number of times.
Yeah. And the Irish get it too for some fucking reason.
It's some kind of wasp weather machine.
Yeah. It only hits now it will only hit Northern Ireland. It flies the same corridor over like into like what's the fucking lake? It's up in Donegal.
Loch Neath?
Loch Earn. Like that little Loch Earn corner over Ballyshannon. And where the old, that's like the easiest way to get, that's where the hurricane, anyway, it's the hurricane, that's how that works.
The United States has a secret weather machine and they're using it to punish Ulster Unionists.
President Biden, come back. I'm sorry I said all those things about you.
We were actually using the hurricanes. We were timing our shipments of funds for the widows and orphans for the good cause there to speed them along. They were going ahead of it. They were taking the fast packet.
But Biden munching block of Kerrygold butter. Another hurricane.
You know, I do have a Kerrygold butter conspiracy.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That his dropped in quality in the United States, so they're keeping the good shit. They got it. There's no way they're sending all. Listen, I've been to fucking Ireland several times. I've commented before on the toilets. I know what this fucking country is like. There's not enough cows to make enough butter for Americans. I've been to Costco.
Yeah.
You can buy like 4 pounds of Kerrygold. There is probably a ton in each Costco in the United States. There's probably a ton, like 2,000 pounds of fucking Kerrygold. Where is that coming from? There's not that many cows in Ireland.
Probably Wisconsin.
Yeah, there's not enough land.
Yeah.
You have cows fucking growing on the cliffs of Moher, like falling over. Dumbass cows. No sense of self-preservation.
It's a cow falling off a cliff.
I'm sure it happens. I'm sure it fucking happens. I took the cliffs of Moher path last summer. Like we did like I'm like, oh my god, I will die. And then like 2 days later, the kid fell. Like, and they closed it off. So I got in like before that shit happened. I was like, dude, this is like dangerous. And there's electric fences on the other side. So if I were to like jump and escape, I'm gonna get zapped.
I was always very confused.
What a
I
country.
went to Norway a long time ago. We took some of the cruises up and down the fjords on the Hurtigruten line.
Were you pining for the fjords?
I was not pining for the fjords because I was there in the fjords. I pined when I got home. And you could see the farmhouse at the top of the cliff, and you could see they had a bunch of cows up there, and there was no roads or anything up there, and you could see they had some cows, and at the bottom of the cliff, there was a boat, like a small rowing boat. They clearly belonged to the farmer, and it was not at all clear how you got from the house to the boat, like 1,000 feet down. Just like, okay, these people have some magic going on.
Some of that fucking elf Norse shit.
Troll magic, yeah. But yeah, so weather is bad in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
And the other thing, of course, is, again, I was looking through just cursory research. Something like half of the Bermuda Triangle incidents actually happened near Cape Hatteras, North Carolina.
Treacherous. Very treacherous.
Very, very treacherous, yeah. You can go see the lighthouse. Oh,
Graveyard of the Atlantic.
Which is interesting. They actually took this whole lighthouse, put it on rails, and moved it like 1,000 feet inland because the erosion is really bad. I've been to the top of this. I was terrified.
I buzzed
in case they put it on rails again?
Oh yeah. Well, no.
Rod's just up there like they're going to put it back on the train. I know.
Oh my god.
This is going to be the fucking sickest thing ever happened.
doing precision scheduled railroading.
Yeah. You have Rodney Kontorsky like outside like filming, just incoherent as the fucking the lighthouse goes by at 60 miles per hour. This is fucking Northvolt Southern colors.
No, you're driving around like SpongeBob driving a rock.
Dude, the loading gauge though, man. Shit, that on this thing, you can't take this anywhere.
On that one, yeah. So this is Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. It's out on the Outer Banks. It is a fantastic vacation destination. That was always where my family went. Well, usually we were closer to like Kitty Hawk or somewhere around there. But this is, it was between Cape Hatteras. I don't remember exactly where, because it's been a long time since we went. Anyway, so, it seems like a lot of, these Bermuda Triangle disasters, of which we're going to discuss several. It's like, well, they went through the Bermuda Triangle and then they wrecked at Cape Hatteras, which is a known location for people to wreck.
Like if you look at the chart, my favorite thing is it says like the shoals, it just says variable. Like it doesn't give you a depth. It's constantly shifting. Just
Yeah.
don't go here.
Just don't go here. It's a bad
Yeah,
idea.
Danger area. See note. Like, please don't. Listen, the East Coast of the United States. We talked about it when we did the last one I was on, the fucking Pendleton rescue.
Yes.
These look like placid, shores. You go, we're going down the shore, go crack a few brewskis,
Yeah.
watch the
Great
game.
beaches, a fantastic weather most of the year.
I'm gonna put listen. You guys meet me at Wawa Crest. I'm the one with the Trump flag, and it'll be really easy to find me there. The
Whatever the North Carolina Wawa is.
It's treacherous, and if you like, I'm a history nerd. You can look up nautical charts from back when the first colonizers were here, and the same spots are dangerous. Like, we haven't changed it. Nature will fight you every chance you get to make you safe. It's very treacherous, and the reason that Cape Hatteras is treacherous is it's shallow and it has shoals that drift off. It's a point of land and it catches sand like the longshore drift. When you decide to like include a triangle that has the Bahamas in it, go see the El Faro episode, which was a victim of the Triangle. Hey, this is like kind of hard to navigate in, but
yeah. So, anyway, maybe we should rename it the Bermuda Quadrilateral. Yeah,
the Bermuda shape.
polygon.
Yes.
Ooh, look at the spanker on her.
Big sailboat.
Ooh.
This
HMS Atalanta.
It looks like it says the missing training shit.
Yeah, it does actually. I love JPEG compression.
Oh, these guys fucking misspell Atlanta. Fuck the break, dude.
This was launched as HMS Juno. It's a 26-gun, 6th-rate frigate.
Magic
you can study too much classics.
Yeah.
Is the thing with naming schemes for the Royal Navy.
That's the entirety of the 19th century.
I guarantee you there's an HMS Meliaga as well. Yeah.
Still don't know what happened to HMS Pinafore.
Is there an HMS Hippomenes?
Listen, look, just open a Patrick O'Brien novel randomly.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. I fuck with them so much. I'm on Nutmeg of Constellation now. I'm getting so close. I'm getting so close to the end. I'm just gonna read them over again.
You can do the Hornblower novels, which are themselves kind of the Nutmeg of Consolation for you having run out of Aubrey Matcher.
Yeah, that's true. Hornblower, I find obnoxious though. He's like a Captain Picard, but not as cool.
This guy's 131 feet long, 40 feet beam. That's the width. If people don't know here, I don't know what the draft is. It was converted to a training ship in early 1878. Which will be a theme.
Yeah, she's a bit of in 1878. She's a bit of a dinosaur.
I mean,
beautiful
end of the 19th century,
ship.
the first time in the Navy that you're like, we got to train these guys, as opposed to just learn on the job. If you fall off something and break your leg, then that's your problem.
Wait, we shouldn't have like a specific rate just called landsmen of guys we stole from like the shore at violence. And they're really, really, really mad that they're on this fucking ship and this fucking shit sucks. And I have to eat fucking salt beef. Fuck
and I have scurvy now.
That's why whenever, listen, talk about reading Patrick O'Brien novels. All of us who read it, we do not imagine ourselves as a Foremast Jack. We imagine ourselves on the quarterdeck.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't been stolen from the bar at like 2:00 in the morning. Next day I'm hungover, and they're like, "Okay, go climb the mainmast."
In a couple of months' time, I'm doing a LARP set in the Battle of Britain, like kind of like half LARP, half reenactment, which is what interested me in it. Not a Patrick O'Brien one. I would have loved it if they had. But my first question was, "Can I be an officer?" And they let me. The stupid bastards.
Yes. If there is ever, Nova, a Patrick O'Brien LARP, you let me know, because I'm gonna. I won't even ask my wife. Like, can we afford this? I'm buying.
You're like, why is all of our money gone into like frock coat expenses? And it's like, listen, you have to be properly attired to be on the quarterdeck.
I'm just convinced them. Listen. It's 1808. The American and British accents didn't diverge so much yet. You really couldn't distinguish an American accent from
That's
true.
The vowel shift hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, the BBC English, what's the received pronunciation hadn't really formed. That's
If anything, like we sounded American, so I should be doing an accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would be. I would give you guys elocution lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, HMS Atalanta set sail from Bermuda on the 31st of January, 1880 for Falmouth, England, and disappeared without a trace.
I mean, I would too if I had to go to Falmouth.
Oopsie whoopsie.
Yep. Just disappeared. No note happened to it. There was an investigation afterwards, and it was complicated owing to a total lack of witnesses.
Well, that tends to happen when a boat disappears.
Yeah. How to disappear completely and never be found? Sink boat.
Be born before satellites.
Yeah. You can still do this if you're a submariner.
There was an able seaman named John Varling. He testified that in his experience on board the ship, he was not on board during this voyage. This ship was generally overweight, tended to list a lot, and the timid new sailors were afraid to go aloft and mess with the sails, or they were too incapacitated by seasickness.
I love the training ship where all of the like safety critical stuff has to be done by the people being trained who are terrified, and there is like one guy to teach them.
Yeah.
And I'm imagining that like in this photo, like, oh no, we just have every fucking sail out. Like, because the guys are too scared.
Yeah, it's like, oh damn. I mean, can we get our okay, all the guys are too terrified to do this. Can we get like they had 11 experienced seamen in a crew of 300.
Oh my fucking God.
This is why you have Royal Marines. I mean, right? I mean, all right, go up there or I'm going to shoot you down here. Please, we're all going to die if you don't go up there and fold those fucking sails.
So the gunboat HMS Avon reported, or is it Avon? I don't know.
It's
Avon.
the one where it's the multi-level marketing one. Your mom in the 90s.
Yeah.
About our moisturizer.
It's the company that makes all the gas masks.
Right. They reported they saw a bunch of wreckage floating around near the Azores after they arrived in England in the middle of April. So this boat, like many of the boats we're going to talk about, probably didn't actually sink in the Bermuda Triangle. It did pass through. This will be a theme.
That's the Azores notably are not within the Bermuda Triangle, I believe.
No, they're quite a ways away. Yeah. And as again, the Times of London, I guess, mused that it was a bad idea to have 11 experienced seamen total in a crew of 300.
That's probably like what the captain said, like stiff upper lip as the ship was going down.
Yeah, it's like, well, damn, we got 10 officers and one guy who's willing to go furl the sails.
I mean, usually it would be like if you look up like how like on the age of sail vessels, like the landsman would be like 10% of the crew at most.
Yeah, I mean, it like you read the novels, right? And it's like, oh, we stole a bunch of guys and they don't know how to like reef or steer or whatever, but like some of them will become good enough in time, right?
Yes.
The rest will break their legs.
Yeah, exactly. And then we ditch them on a pier somewhere, and then there's someone else's problem.
You become a broken man on a Halifax pier. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and Aubrey makes some sort of joke. Doesn't know a stay from a halyard, and everyone in the fucking wardrobe just starts thumping the tables and all that.
Yeah, and you hear that as they sail away from your mangled legs, and you're just like, I really thought I would be an officer in this one.
Yeah.
Well, landsmen all, wherever you may be, if you want to rise to the top of the trees, stay close to your desks and never go to sea. You all may be rulers of the Queen's Navy.
So it's like when I did actually my dad did like the family genealogy, nothing notable has ever been done by us or like happened to us. We are the like most statistically probable like family in history, and it's mostly it's all like peasant. Which is like, of course it is. Why would it be anything else? Most people were. It's like peasant, works on the computer, podcaster.
Yeah.
Yes. So you've become the most notable member of your family.
I hope to God that isn't true, but
It's either
I guess I will leave some kind of genealogical like record behind. Despite the fact, well, no, because my family ends with me. I guess.
Oh, shit.
Like I've got cousins, I guess, but like I'm probably not gonna have kids. So and the world's ending.
Sisters,
So.
cousins, aunts. And
Yeah.
the continuing Pinafore theme.
my most famous ancestor fucked over the Lenape and helped William Penn's son screw them over in the walking purchase. So I mean, I'd rather-
Wow.
Yeah.
Guy on the walking purchase on a Segway.
Right.
Well, I mean, basically, that's what they were doing. They were running. But,
yeah, the fastest runners in southeast Pennsylvania.
because if they were on segways, they would have fallen into a creek and died. The veteran of the Segway, which is still the funniest fucking thing ever. This one spooked me.
All right.
It's a spooky looking ship.
I put a note in here. I used to have a book of like maritime mysteries, and for some reason, this picture used to scare me as a kid. And I would like turn the page, like not look at it.
Yep.
I don't know what it is. It is a spooky photo, but for some reason, that one just hit something in my brain.
It's the ghosts. It's the poltergeists.
Yeah,
Tom Crane here, terrified of cranes.
Yeah, they're unnatural. I only like inclined planes.
Yeah, now I whenever I see a self-unloading bulker, ooh boy. So the USS Cyclops.
Creepy name.
That is a creepy name. It's don't name your ships after shit like that.
Again, you can study too much classics.
Yep. 542 feet long, 65-foot beam, 27-foot 8-inch draft, 2 boilers, 2 triple expansion steam engines, 19,360 long tons displacement.
Same.
Oh, come on. Don't put yourself down like that.
Yeah. You're not the, I mean, you're not, first off, you're not the Cyclops. I'm going to name my ship. I'm going to name it like something like really like with like good omens, like HMS, that creepy Caravaggio painting of Medusa.
Oh, yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
The USS Scylla and the USS Charybdis.
HMS Holofernes.
Yeah. So this is a kind of ship that we don't really use anymore, at least in the Navy, which is a collier, right? So the ships,
that newspaper or magazine went out. Isn't it gone? Went out of business.
Colliers, yeah.
Colliers, yeah. This brings the coal to various refueling ports for the United States Navy.
Yeah, remember when you used to have coaling stations, which is how you got Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah, and they can even refuel ships at sea.
Guy throwing a big sack of anthracite at you over the side.
I'm just imagining Felix playing like Ship Simulator and in flight, in mission recollaring, recoaling, and he's going to start talking about that on Chapo.
I mean, this would be a very useful ship in, let's say, the Russo-Japanese War.
Yes. Yes, it would.
Yeah. So anyway,
we'll talk about the Battle of Tsushima on an episode at some point. Mostly because I just really want to.
This ship puts to sea on the 16th of February, 1918, from beautiful Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Right?
Brazil mentioned.
Well, that's your problem. Come to Brazil.
306 crew I wrote down here. I think there might have actually been a bunch of passengers as part of that complement. They're heading for the port of Salvador, Brazil, to take on 10,800 tons of manganese ore. Now, this ship was only rated for 8,000 tons but the manganese ore is heavier than coal. So they just went in and filled the bunkers up to the top.
Sensing a theme again of heavy ships
Why does
mysteriously disappearing.
manganese? I feel like manganese comes up like when I'm on this.
Is
podcast.
manganese bauxite? Is that what that is?
No, manganese is it's a
used
separate
in
metal. I
steel.
believe this is used for like ammunition in some way. Manganese is in stainless steel, but
Yeah,
they didn't have stainless steel yet.
And well, the lack of one of the like lesser known reasons why the Third Reich collapsed, besides the fact that like they were losers and they suck, was they ran out of manganese, so their steel became all brittle.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So I guess it's for increased ductility, you know, which is a useful thing to have.
Is that what that does that make it more rigid or less rigid?
It makes it less rigid.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds
Bullshit.
I
Yeah.
think I'm with Nova on this one.
So from beautiful, fabulous Brazil, they set sail on the 22nd of February for fabulous and exotic Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah, that's your first mistake, yeah.
Brazil, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yo, we're gonna go down the ocean, try to watch these ships come in, see these Brazil girls come off.
They put in at Barbados for coal and provisions. They set off again at March 4th. And they never arrive.
Tough verdict on Baltimore as a destination.
Yo, anywhere, please, anywhere.
Well, hey, I've heard leaving is difficult as well.
Oh, we'll get there.
Yeah. So this ship was expected in, but just because it's like, okay, you're not going to start the search until it was expected in. So they don't start searching for the ship until March 23rd, right?
That's when the first consumptive like wife was like, I sensed something happened to my husband at sea. Because I don't had
like
to
on,
had
on a
had we-
pier on the inner harbor next to the aquarium. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, my husband, he ain't. I feel like something bad happened to him out in the ocean, and I'm going to walk here until either the O's win the World Series or my husband come home. No. What was I going to ask? There was actually a real question there before I started doing dumb shit. It'll come back to me.
So there's a bunch of commercial vessels on the lookout, right? There's the Navy is intercepting communications between German U-boats, right? They don't know anything. They haven't reported, shooting a big collier, right? No one had seen the Cyclops, except there was a purported sighting by a molasses tanker near the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, which is notably not in the Bermuda Triangle, right?
Right, I think. And
the captain of that tanker also said, I didn't actually say that.
Really big triangle.
Yeah. No, maybe the triangle encompasses the entire ocean.
If you expand the triangle out like wide enough, I wonder like what math nerds shout out in the comments. What's the biggest the triangle can be?
If you put one point of it at like one of the Lagrange points, right? Then technically, if you believe this, every naval accident in human history has happened in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
So did Columbia and Challenger. Wait, shit. Did Challenger happen in the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, sure.
Oh, fuck.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
Mm-hmm. The whole
Lake
of
Superior.
World War II.
Yeah. The big lake they call Bermuda Triangle Looney.
Yeah.
Big Muda.
I apologies to any Ojibwe listening. I just butchered your language.
You ever have a goldfish die?
Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle.
The plot continues. My third eye is really. I'm a cover of a Tool album right now.
If you stretch the oxidation out on a timeline, then every human has spontaneously combusted after they died.
The heat death of the universe happens in the Bermuda Triangle.
Jesus fucking Christ.
No wreckage from this ship was ever found, not even some flotsam, right? There were a bunch of rumors that the ship had put into port in Barbados to refuel, to set sail for Germany and defect.
Oh my God, it's the hunt for Red October, but with Prussians.
The captain was, after all, a damned Dutchman.
Right. Russian is
you can't trust
Lithuanian.
Eyewitnesses reported a ship named Cyclops in the Kiel Canal in Germany, which turned out to be just a different ship with the same name.
Just a German collier kidnapping would be a
Yeah.
really good bit for them to do immediately after losing World War One.
Yes.
To be like, how can we get back on the world stage? It's easy. We steal a ship full of manganese.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like the mirror universe. The Terran Empire comes back in time to ensure Nazi Germany has enough manganese to secure the Großdeutschland. And
It's a pretty good idea for a story, yeah.
Yeah, we could probably, do this with some kind of high tech fashion.
Yeah. Alex
you know,
Kurtzman,
with-
reach out. I'll delete all the bad things I said about Discovery.
The Cyclops was declared officially lost with all hands on the 1st of June by the Secretary of the Navy, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
I gotta do FDR's suicide fleet as a bonus. I'll write that.
We got to wait a little while because Lions Led by Donkeys just did that.
Did you? Fuck.
Yeah.
I knew there was a reason why I was thinking of it, but I couldn't think why. And I was like, oh yeah.
We had to wait some time between.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Just cut that. I embarrassed myself.
No. Start the clock going. Start the clock going. This investigation continued into 1922 with the Navy investigating reports that a man in a Philadelphia prison reported that a spy had set off a charge in the hold, that it was sunk by a U-boat and just no one told anyone. Of course,
no one knows. But that remember that fucking John that sank that never showed up. Yo, dude, I knew. There was a guy in another cell. And he was telling me there was a fucking spy on there. Wow,
Jailhouse snitching extending to ships is really good.
Yes.
it was a fucking one of them fucking U-boats, dude. I told you.
And
U-boat getting perp walked like this is bullshit.
I told you.
There was a man. A man claimed he had constructed an enormous underwater cannon several miles off the coast of Cuba, linked to the shore by a tunnel. And he had heard that the captain was defecting, so he fired his underwater cannon at the Cyclops.
Let's fucking
and
go.
sank it.
This rules.
Well, this is like fucking this is like Star Wars shit. Like, we're gonna test this fully operational underwater cannon on the, no, don't fire the Cyclops. It's a peaceful vessel intended only to provide coal to the people of Baltimore. Do you have a target, a military target? We'll name the vessel. Then she says the name, and then they blow it up anyway. And then somewhere in Baltimore, a fucking O's fan's like, yo, I just felt a shudder, like a fucking 40 guys cried out, and then we're silenced, dude. Dude, it's fucking spooky. It's like there's ghosts or something.
So anyway, none of this proved to be true. And it was kind of like, well, maybe it's just bad weather and overloading.
Nah.
Yeah,
I've been
there. Underwater, that is my favorite. I had not heard that theory. You're just fucking Big Bertha, like
but underwater.
Underwater with 1918 metallurgy.
Yep. No, it's still there.
It's the fucking Sea Dragon, but 50 years too early.
That's what's actually doing all the Bermuda Triangle sinkings.
Just some fucking there's a bunch of fucking Prussians underneath there, like still with the pickle helmet and like just shooting.
Oh my
Listen,
God!
If you know what a World War One, the World War One U-boats, if you knew what it was like in them, I mean, you would go in an underwater cannon. But fuck it, anything's better than this shit.
Shit, there's wet Prussians. Castro, what are you doing about the wet Prussians? They're ruining shipping.
Dude, that's how they stop Bay of Pigs.
I guess so. They use the wet Prussians.
They're just like really old and decrepit down there. For some reason, they're still alive. I guess it's not unreasonable that some 18-year-old from 1918 still be alive. And for Bay of Pigs, that makes sense.
So anyway, yeah, it turns out there was bad weather that day, and you notice supposed last location of Cyclops here, fairly close to Cape Hatteras, by the way.
Oh shit.
Certainly pretty
Mysterious.
far from the Bermuda Triangle.
That looks like an extratropical low. Kind of like the last one we had in the other episode.
Weird.
Yes.
It's almost like that happens like every day, like in the
Yeah.
winter.
And they also had one of their engines was malfunctioning. So, you have asymmetric thrust on there, So, probably just rolled over in bad weather.
Yeah.
Um,
And probably somewhere deep where you can't find it. And then like the other thing is like it's just like the Gulf Stream. And so like if there is a shipwreck, it can get moved around fairly like quickly if it's still floating.
Oh, yeah. And then, some reports indicated it was difficult even to get out of the harbor at Salvador because it was so overloaded, right?
Just this thing limping away, and everybody's like, "Yep, looking good."
Looking good.
Me
Thumbs
after
up.
50-cent wing night.
Yeah. Contemporary reports indicated the ship was loaded to the point where the Plimsoll line, which are these various lines here, was submerged, which is the line that indicates the maximum safe draft. Like once that's underwater, the ship's overloaded. You can't use it, right? So yeah, just some fuckery happening here. Not a mysterious disappearance. It just turns out, no, people were dumb.
And it wasn't in the triangle.
It was not in the triangle.
Like probably when it sank, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Okay. I almost tripped on some stuff leaving the chair.
Well, don't do that. Don't die.
No, that would not be good. During the Bermuda Triangle episode, think of all the conspiracies.
Yeah. I think often about the funniest episode for one of us to die during.
During the
this is
middle of
definitely
it?
up there. Yeah.
You could fall asleep during the anesthesia episode. Oh, shit, it happened. You could, shit, what else?
Just get Byford Dolphin during the Byford Dolphin episode.
You could get spontaneously human combusted
Oh, God.
during
yeah,
a
horrifying.
spontaneous human combustion episode.
I'd hate to get spontaneously human combusted. Sure would suck.
Adult onset sudden infant death syndrome. Just died for no reason. Much like
I mean,
horse.
you can do it, like, terrifying as it is,
It's just I missed a couple beats. Dead.
Try not to think about it. Not very successfully.
You could get I don't know, maybe the house. Maybe we'd talk about an earthquake and the big one hits the East Coast. The rumored big one. The New Madrid fault
pretty
goes.
good. Yeah.
Carrington event. House catches fire.
We all get killed by our headphones simultaneously, like touching our hand to the metal plate. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's
That'd
like
do it.
touching the stove.
So all podcasters killed at once.
Oh my God. I can't believe we had every podcaster in the world recording simultaneously.
The Carrington event too, waiting for some kind of like podcast convention to strike.
Everyone's going to have to go back to listening to radio. Most
Terrible.
left-wing content
An awful
out there
thing.
will be NPR.
Jesus. Well, they're trying to defund that, so,
They make basically none of their money from the government at this point. That's the other thing. I mean, it's nominally funded by the government, but it's really funded by the Annenberg Foundation.
By listeners like you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the original Patreon, isn't it?
They really need to invent Chinese Patreon or European Patreon. I'm not picky, so long as it isn't like dollar-based, because the whole global reserve currency thing.
What if we had a phone drive and gave people tote bags?
Pretty good. That's a pretty good idea. So long as they pay in gold. Like one ingot of gold gets you a tote bag.
Well, we'd have to get everyone in the same room right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And we'd all be working the phones.
Mm.
And
I mean,
calling
the
all our
first bit's already
Patreons.
difficult.
Yeah. And then, well, we would need also to get our friends in there too, because we need to work all the phones, right? And then ask them to pledge support and then send them a Will There's Your Problem tote bag.
Yeah, just use the kind of language of fundraising and be like, you know, with your help, we can end the problem of me having to pay rent, and I can like buy a house.
Exactly. We could have some celebrity guests.
Yeah.
We could have. I haven't watched NPR or PBS
You're
telethon
listening to
before.
NPR.
It's we get Ira Glass on.
Yeah. You got to get the mouth noises in for NPR. I don't know how they don't filter those out.
It's very difficult to go on NPR because the one time I was on NPR, it was like, yeah, call in for the interview 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
use this terrible app. I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I can't do this.
I got to be on once for some. I won't even say for what.
I'm the only one who hasn't been on fucking NPR.
We'll get you on NPR.
We got shooters. We'll get you on NPR.
All right.
We'll see what Terry goes.
Let's go.
It's in Philadelphia, right? No, but like I actually got to go to the studio, but this was all before COVID. So, but they took a 30-minute interview and then condensed me down to 30 seconds.
Fuckers.
I would have preferred that. I got the live 5-minute interview and I was just so blurry I couldn't do anything. I was like, what
Mr.
why
Rosniak,
are we doing this?
You can't say that sucks dick on NPR.
Yeah, in fairness, it might be a mistake to give a live interview to the woman who impulsively played a drop of Eric Adams saying the N-word. Who has access to that technology and is irresponsible enough to do that by accident.
I'm going to try and get you canceled by saying, well, she played it so that she could say it.
It's wishful. I was using Eric Adams as my like amanuensis.
That's going to, if you leave that in, that's going to be on Tumblr. Someone's going to say,
The only thing that's on Tumblr is like a bunch of people telling me about bad times they had watching movies, and one guy who's mad at me about Ukraine, which is kind of like every other social network.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. I mean, you know, I mean, there's no way people will be happy about Ukraine.
You'd think Ukrainians might be, but you know,
I don't know. We're all going to get held hostage by some Azov guys. You know, and be kind of like, well, maybe we deserve this in a way. So anyway, yeah. Once again, the ship, you know, sort of was last reported near Cape Hatteras, notably not in the Bermuda Triangle. But let's go on to one of the most famous ones, which is Flight 19.
Oh, this one used to scare the shit out of me. This one was the one that scared me because I used to read about this and a bunch of like unsolved mysteries things, and I was like, dawning horror.
Yeah.
Nova, did you ever play the Flight Simulator X mission?
No, because I was too scared.
Oh, it was cool. It was cool. There's a plane. You can find it on YouTube, but there's a plane. Like your mission is you're flying a Learjet. There's like a company yacht that's like stuck off Bimini Island. You have to like send a drop pod, which looks oddly like a torpedo. But if you stay in it, you can't. If you don't find the yacht, weird shit starts to happen, and like your systems start to turn off in the plane. And then you see like the night sets, there's like you see the Cyclops out in the distance, and then you see Flight 19 will circle past you. But they're all green because they're ghosts.
Fuck.
That was spook. That whenever that came out, whenever I played that was spooky.
God, they really didn't. They underutilized all of the flight simulators' capacity for storytelling. I feel like
truly. I mean, now it's just AI voices. Like,
oh my fucking god!
Flight Simulator 2024. Like, wow, it is. I can see my house from here over Percassi. Just mispronouncing local names and shit.
Yeah, it makes you. You know, it makes you wonder what Microsoft Train Simulator 2 could have been. You know, if they still had creative people in there.
Driving the train into the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you did the Key West extension would be a hilarious Microsoft Train Simulator route.
The part of the Bright Line that's in Miami, like the That's the part of this. Every time it goes to pull into Miami, it just disappears.
Well, you see the ghost of the old station and all the old trains there, and then there's a ghost of a bunch of Pinkertons just beating your ass.
There's a ghost of Jack Ruby making the deal with the Gusanos to blow up, kill JFK, kill Oswald, to make sure they don't know that they were on it.
Well, I would say Florida East Coast Railroad is one of the most cursed railroads out there because they're the only ones that successfully broke their union. Although they came back just with UTU as opposed to the various railroad craft unions. Anyway,
Devin, go bleep me saying. Should we have Devin bleep me saying Gusano as that slur?
It's fine. It's
No,
fine. It
that's
just
fine.
means worm. You
Yeah,
know, whatever.
exactly.
Fuck it. You assholes fucking suck. Shade.
All right.
That's
Anyway.
much more offensive. All right, go ahead. Sorry, Rob.
December 5th, 1945. We have to talk about navigational problem number 1.
Oh
Right.
God.
This is
Anxiety.
a routine training flight involving navigating to a reef using dead reckoning, bombing that reef, and then returning to base in Fort Lauderdale, right?
Yeah, because I mean, you used to have to do, even in like the Pacific in World War II, you had to do so much fucking navigation with no landmarks, just over like open ocean. And then if you fuck up in any way, sharks eat you.
It sucks, and your fucking compass there's like on the lines. Yeah, it's called gyroscopic drift. So you have to like oh shit! I hope I forget to reset my fucking compass so that while I'm over the open ocean, you know, it's if you've ever, I'm going to talk about flight simulator again. Fly an old plane with just radio nav, like delete all the other shit. Don't use the GPS. It's genuine, especially if there's any weather or it's at night. It's genuinely terrifying. You don't know where you are.
Crabs will eat your bones like Amelia Earhart.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So, Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor was the leader. There were 5 Grumman TBF Avengers, but they were made by GM instead of Grumman, so they were TBM Avengers.
Yeah, I should say Taylor had like 2,500 hours of flying like experience, whereas all of the other guys, his little ducklings, had like 300 total each, and like 60 in the Avenger, which is it's not a lot.
Yeah, and these planes they're torpedo bombers, right? They're very good at killing submarines. They're also pretty heavy.
It's if you've never seen what like these like naval bombers look like, they're here we go. They're pictures on the fucking screen. I'm not looking at it. They're big boys. They're chunky.
Yes. So Taylor, whose call sign was Foxtrot Tango 28, right?
They hadn't
That's
even
the
invented
modern
the
alphabet.
NATO.
They hadn't invented that.
It would be what was F?
It'd be like some fucking like city names, like fucking I don't know, like Phoenix, Tacoma, or whatever.
Phoenix
actively actively unhelpful phonetic alphabet.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Would it be Foxtrot? Oh, NATO phonetic alphabet.
Is the Allied military phonetic alphabet?
Yes.
It would be Fox and oh fuck, I confused myself. Fox Tear.
Oh,
they didn't
Fox
change
Tear.
it until 1956.
Fox Terror 28, Lieutenant Taylor, he was late. And he requested actually not to fly this mission. And it was denied because he didn't give a reason.
Yeah, they don't let you not go to work in the military because you don't want to, which kind of sucks.
That kind of sucks, yeah. I'm not sure I'd be good at that job.
They should change that if they want to recruit anyone, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like fighting today. I'm going to stay in bed.
I want to do this. I mean, like, what is fucking Alftrag's tactic if not like trusting a guy to be like, this seems like a bad idea?
You know, I mean, having seen geopolitical strategy recently by certain countries, I do believe sometimes doing nothing is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So this flight sets off around 2:10 p.m. instead of the scheduled 1:45 p.m. There's beautiful clear weather. You know, what can go wrong here other than usual horrific training accidents? Each of these aircraft is fully fueled. All of them lacked clocks, right? Which would
just we neglected this one aspect in the war economy to turn one of GM's factories into a clock factory.
This would seem important for doing dead reckoning, right? Where you
Might need
figure
that.
your position based solely on your speed, heading, and time elapsed. These clocks were apparently very popular with souvenir hunters in the Navy.
So they're just like, I'm going to get myself a desk clock by like
Yeah.
prying one out of the cockpit of one of these.
I'm sending a Grumman Avenger back home a bit by bit.
One
Got one
piece
piece at a time, and it didn't cost me a dime. Well, apparently they were 24-hour clocks, which were hard to get otherwise. And it was like, all right, that's fine.
Confuse the American mind.
Everyone's got a watch. It'll be fine, right? Or do they? So they fly out of Fort Lauderdale and they go to this place, Hens and Chickens Reef,
Yes.
right? And they start bombing it, right? This was evidently completed successfully around 3:00 in the afternoon.
They've been out for less than an hour. It's a little Sunday drive.
I was about to say this seems like a pretty easy mission. You know, this is these guys are about to have a real Gilligan's Island experience.
And you're like Hens and Chickens Reef. Am I on the right one? Because there's the Hens and Chickens Reef.
How many hens and
Off
chickens
the
reefs can there
Keys, right?
fucking be?
Off the
Yeah,
Keys.
so then there's one near Delaware, but apparently there's also one in between Fort Lauderdale and like Grand Bahama.
Okay, because there's also one off of Plantation Key, off the Florida Keys.
Well, that might be where the confusion came from.
There's why are we naming this? Who named this?
Probably the hens and the chickens.
Yeah, commonly called Chicken Rocks.
Chicken Rock. It's like you get a chicken out of the freezer. That's a Chicken Rock.
It's in the Bahamas. It's like 56 miles east of Florida.
This was completed successfully around 3 p.m. They had finished bombing the shoals, the reefs, according to radio transmissions heard at base, right? And so they keep going west, right? East, excuse me. And then they made the turn and immediately got lost.
God fucking damn it.
The compasses on Lieutenant Taylor's plane both went out. Lieutenant Robert F. Cox was on a following training run. He was, what's the F and the T again?
Foxterre
74. He picked up radio from Flight 19 around 3:40ish. He made contact asking if they could be of assistance, because it was like they were clearly talking about, I think we're lost. Taylor was, for whatever reason, entirely sure they had somehow flown to the Florida Keys, and he was now attempting to find Fort Lauderdale. He was advised to put the sun on his port wing because, you know, the sun sets in the west and it was afternoon, and fly north along the coast, right?
You would, like, if it's clear weather, like you're flying over the Florida Keys, you'd be able to see. Like, you wouldn't be where's Fort Lauderdale? You just have the whole fucking Florida north of you. You could see it from the air. It's
you
very
could
close.
See Florida, yeah.
It's very shallow. Listen, I took my Comanche all the way from Doylestown Airport down to Key West in flight simulator. Not, I don't have a plane in real life. You're not allowed to fly a plane if you have diagnosed and treated ADHD.
Really? That's bullshit. They should.
You have to lie about it. You have to lie about
Jesus,
it. There's going to be a major pilot shortage pretty soon.
They're already let you fly the planes. Yeah.
So, but like, obviously, like, I'm not a pilot. It's flight simulator, but you could see what you would see in real life. And if there's no weather, you can even from like 2,000 feet up, you could fucking see Florida from the Florida Keys. It's not that hard.
It's just it's like one of a bunch of different like kind of command brain problems where you get in like an idée fixe, right? You get something stuck in your head and you're like, well, this is my basic assumption. I'm not going to like question that. So like my whole fucking decision loop thing or whatever is going to be
OODA loop hasn't been disrupted yet.
Yeah. My first O in my OODA loop is wrong, and so I've just like second O. The second O in my OODA loop is fucking wrong, and so now all of my loops are going to be fucked.
Oh, I hate when all my loops get fucked. And right now, just at the mention of OODA loop, the EDC guys who are still listening they just came in their pants. They fucking love the OODA loop. They love to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
The Naval Air Station contacted Taylor, asked if he could turn on the YG transmitter, right, which is what we now call IFF or identification friend or foe. That's so you know if you should shoot at a plane or not, right? So they could triangulate their location.
The U.S. Navy famously good at that with airliners.
Yes.
It's like, you know the old military joke about how the most dangerous thing in the world is a lieutenant with a compass? The most dangerous thing in the world is not a lieutenant with a compass. It's a lieutenant without a compass.
Or a clock.
Yeah.
Fox Terror 28 replied he did not. Fox Terror 74 decided, all right, I'm going to fly south and try and meet you and lead you back to land, right?
Oh, to like get lost with like two different like guys on the phone with you trying to talk you in, and you're getting more lost.
You're getting more lost.
This reminds me of a time when I was working retail. We had someone trying to find the store I was working at. And I said, well, I need you to drive west on this road. They're like, well, what direction is west? It's like, well, I can't. If you don't know what direction you're facing, I can't help you. Like, that's, I don't know where west is. She was like getting all frustrated too. I was like, sorry.
This is what GPS is doing to people.
Yep.
Yeah, for real.
That's why I don't use that shit. Instead, I just get lost like an adult.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, like...
Around 4:26, Fox Terror 28 reported they had sighted a small island, but no other land in sight. And this was probably Grand Bahama or the Abaco Islands, right? Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, the lieutenant was convinced this is the Florida Keys. We have somehow flown into the Florida Keys. And at this point, the Air Sea Rescue Task Force in the Florida Everglades was alerted, and they started to try and locate Fox Terror 28's YG transmitter, right? Civilian merchant ships were also told to be on the lookout. More than 20 ground-based facilities were also looking for the planes in the wrong place. Complicating matters was that the radio frequency Fox Terror 28 was using experienced heavy interference from Cuban radio stations.
Not even like communist sabotage because it's 46. You're getting Meyer Lansky's Radio Havana. Like you're getting Cuban bops while you're trying to listen out for this guy.
Oh my God, there's too much rumba. I can't understand.
Yeah, he said something about the Florida Keys and then he got cut off by the maracas.
Yeah. Oh, they play the flute too goddamn good. How do you play guitar like that?
It's 3 straight minutes of Bacardi advertisements. And some cigars as well. Air Sea Rescue suggested a plane with a good compass should take over navigation because, again, there's...
Well, let's get the one with the good compass. Yeah, get that one. That one plane we have.
There's 4 planes here. All these guys have done this training procedure several times before. Let one of them go ahead. Come on.
Crew resource management, not a thing yet. I mean, think about it. It's worse, worse than being one of the other aviators is being one of the gunners because you're just along for the ride. You'll wait and you're just chilling in the back as it becomes increasingly apparent that the 4 guys up front have no idea what they're doing.
You're just
You've
watching.
eaten your bag lunch. You're just like, there's nothing for me to do here. Like I can
Except watch Florida get smaller and smaller and smaller.
This is one of the things that used to make me really anxious. Yeah.
Say, guys, I think we could probably turn around and make it.
Yeah,
Shut up.
why don't we just try heading west? Let's just try it. Like, come on, like crazy. You know what?
Hold that thought.
One of us.
The problem is that the guy up front is the guy up front because the first question he thought to ask is, "Can I be an officer?" And you didn't think to ask that question.
You said yes way too fast. Go take backsies.
Foxterror 28 acknowledged, but the transmission was so garbled no one could figure out if he actually did that.
Yeah, the word garbled often enough.
Yeah. Foxterror 7-4 loses contact while flying south to meet the planes which were flying north. So standard procedure at Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale for lost aircraft was to fly directly towards the sun until you reach the mainland and then navigate via landmarks. That's west. Sun sets in the west.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose in the morning they'd fly away from the sun. I don't know.
It's just
But
this
yeah.
weird terror to be like, I am over the Keys. If I fly west, I will be flying to my certain doom in the Gulf of Mexico. Sorry, the Gulf of America,
The Gulf
I guess.
of America, I guess, yeah.
It's like surely easier to get found if you're lost in the Gulf of America, I guess, than in the fucking Atlantic.
Like, but if you were gonna be, I looked at where the shoal is, the Chicken Rocks. You would have had to hit Florida. You would like had to fly over like Biscayne Bay to get yourself like over the Keys. Like
It's like maybe I missed it.
It doesn't make any sense. Like it's a total like. Who is this motherfucker? Was this like some fucking Boston Brahmin dumbass? like legacy admit to the Naval Academy. Who had
Naval
no idea.
Reserve.
Well, they're really dipping into the bottom of the barrel here.
Born 1917 in Nueces County, Texas.
Oh yeah, that's a problem there.
So not only are you like you're in the back of one of these, you're in your gun turret, you've eaten your bag lunch. There's a bunch of like frenzied radio calls with like rumba music, and meanwhile the guy who's getting you all killed is this foghorn leghorn motherfucker.
Oh my god.
Foxterror 28 announced over the radio, since they think they're in the Gulf of America. Well, I say I will fly at heading 030 for 45 minutes to ensure I'm not in the Gulf of Mexico.
I do declare I did on my most recent overflight. Observe out of my window the
fuel starvation hits in mid-sentence.
The very shape and appearance of the Keys attached to the peninsula of Florida.
If the Confederacy had won the war, the entire Confederate States Air Force would be like this.
That's why Pickett's charge failed. He was too busy doing a speech. Every officer, every fucking like lieutenant and cornet or whatever fucking bullshit they had back then was giving his own version of the speech. You know,
why I do declare that you are the very sons of Lysander. Oh, the damn Yankees!
Just immediately ripped apart.
All of your guys have been getting shot through the brain pan by a guy who used to run a general store in Ohio.
Yeah. So you must charge like they had done so at just a guy on the other side. Yo, fucking load him up. Yo, I put. This is like this. We're the 69th. Yeah, nice. Fucking Philadelphia Phillies battalion. They got the fucking Phillies flag on the fucking gun. Dude, I put triple shot in that fucking thing. Dude, it's like Miller Lite, triple hops brewed, fucking triple shot. Just imagine that's your last thought is like some fucking proto hoagie mouth dipshit. Yo, I fucking dude, I'm gonna stab him in the dick.
All right, fuck a World War II reenactment. We got to start. we got to start drafting the first Pennsylvania Secret Service regiment of infantry.
Oh, hell yes.
So, Foxterra 78, Lieutenant Cox, he's in the previous training flight. He's now called Lieutenant Cox because he's on the ground, right? He strongly suspects that this training flight is lost just around Bahama Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And Air Sea Rescue concurred. They're like, yeah, they're probably lost there. Let's go out, send out the plane to go get them, right? We're going to dispatch the ready plane at a heading of 075 to intercept them, right? We're going to establish a radio relay, and we're going to get them back before anything stupid happens, right? These radio transmissions from Flight 19, they're starting to get fainter. They're starting to have problems. They try and get what is it again?
Foxterra
28 to switch to a different frequency that doesn't have Cuban radio on it. And he's like, no, I'll lose contact with my other planes. So he doesn't do that. So they're stuck with the maracas the whole time.
At least you have a nice soundtrack as you die.
This is true. Yeah. The transmissions from Flight 19, again, they're getting fainter, but they do hear at least two of the student pilots saying something like, damn it, head west. We'll get home if we head west.
Oh, you motherfuckers. I
break
don't know how to express
formation.
this to you. Yeah, you control the buttons you press, right? Like,
Yes.
that guy might be mad at you. He's in another plane.
Yeah.
You can just fly away from him.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, he can die. He can go off. He's thinking about Faulkner. He's doing the Faulkner thing, right? He's thinking about Pickett's charge. He's daydreaming about this. And yeah, just fucking turn west, dude.
Yeah, exactly. They knew where they were. Go the other way.
It's
Just
so
go the other way.
obvious. And this is what frustrated me. I know obviously we're like self-selected nerds here, but like I have a geography brain. You think you need a geography brain to be a pilot? Like I can just tell from a map in my mind where these things are. Like it may. I do declare I'm over the Cape. No, you were not over the Cape. You were bombing in the Bahamas.
Yeah, exactly. Ask the gunner. He can see land.
Yeah, he's got the reciprocal view behind you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's now about
Good
5
Lord.
o'clock in the evening, right?
Yeah, so it's almost night probably because it's like in December.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Just before the plane was about to be sent out to intercept them, the air station got a fix on the flight, right? And it was far, far off course. But there was good news. Foxterra 28 had come to his senses. They'd fly due west until they hit the beach or ran out of gas. So they didn't send out the plane. Anyway, so an hour later, he changed his mind.
Motherfucker. What?
29 north, 79 west. Is that what it said?
Yes.
That's fucking off of Daytona Beach.
This guy, he graduated from Naval Air Station Corpus Christi, Texas. So this is an all Texas failure. Born in Texas, raised in Texas, trained in Texas.
We teach our officers real instinctual navigation. We don't have need for numbers.
This is what it's going to be like when they purge woke out of the military. It's going to be like this again.
Flight 19, they'd been triangulated to a position within 100 miles of 29 degrees north, 79 degrees west. No one had actually thought to tell Foxterra 28 that, though. They had not told him that. Or to tell his students that in case the lieutenant was too stubborn or stupid. So by 6:20, the transmissions were getting more and more garbled. Foxterra 28 tells his men, all planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall. When the first plane drops to 10 gallons, we all go down together.
Oh my God, this fucking Decemberists ass piece of shit. Like, romantic
guy.
notions having. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, but no, this is your own stupid ass fault. Come on.
If I'm the gunner, I'm willing the gun to traverse 180 degrees.
I was about to say, yeah. And they're ditching in what is becoming increasingly stormy weather, right? So, command back on land says, all right, it's time to dispatch the search and rescue planes because they overhear this transmission, right? So there's a PBY Catalina dispatched at 6:00. They didn't find them. They had a bunch of transmitter trouble.
I love those Catalinas. Beautiful planes.
Yeah.
Fucking love
And then at the Naval Air Station in Banana River, there were 2 PBM-5 Mariners, that's this guy up here, who were not affectionately nicknamed the Flying Gas Tanks.
Is that good? Are we about to see some spontaneous human combustion?
They were diverted from a nighttime navigational training mission and instead sent on a search and rescue mission for the presumably downed planes. Shortly after takeoff, one of them explodes and crashes into the ocean.
So yes.
Fuck. A sudden onset spontaneous human combustion.
Yes.
Maybe we should do something about the pilots smoking during flight.
This is in a lot of recountings. This is mystified as they never saw or heard from that plane again, but there was a passing ship that saw it happen in front of them, and in fact went to go to the huge oil slick and look for survivors.
I just imagine like this thing explodes and just like into bits of like, oh my God, they disappeared. Like, just, where did they go?
These planes.
It was replaced by this huge explosion that I don't know what it is.
God damn it, it's the underwater gun.
They went into a time warp.
Jesus Christ, I've just had an extremely Chapel Roan moment because I went to look up the PBM Mariner and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th picture on that page is a PBM being hoisted aboard the seaplane tender USS Curtis, but the plane has a name, and the name painted under the ball turret in front is Hot to Go. So marketing campaign getting everywhere.
Oh, I thought it said hot dog, which would be like, that's my plane. I'm calling
That's
it like
cool.
fucking hamburger.
No, it says Hot to Go. It's just misspelled. It's HOTOGO.
Hot toga. That was what the Greeks were really into for like.
Yeah, the fucking like
instead of yoga pants, they're wearing togas.
Yeah,
doing yoga with your foreskin tied in a ribbon so your glands wouldn't get exposed because that's gauche.
Chapel Roan, if you're listening, come on a podcast.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I mean, she might be. We do have people everywhere.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, we got shooters. Anyway, so a lot of times in a lot of the literature, this is mystified as, they never saw the plane again. I already said this, didn't I? Okay. But yeah, these planes were known to suddenly explode for no reason. This was a known problem with them.
Shit. Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah. That's just American engineering for you. Thank God Trump's bringing it back.
I mean, Tesla's.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. The search for survivors continued for 5 days, came up with numerous other wrecks of similar planes, but not anything from Flight 19. I mean,
these fuckers were like crashing into the ocean.
It's the entirety of the fucking Corpus Christi Naval Academy detachment.
The graduating class just...
The Corpus Christi Naval Community College.
You're a rank lower than the Merchant Marines.
America's 76th line of defense.
Yeah.
Between Naval Air Station Corpus Christi and the League of Women Voters.
Yeah, I think the Coast Guard Women's Auxiliary is still there. Yeah, the waves, they're there. They're a little ahead.
The final report initially blamed Taylor.
Yeah, I mean,
he was now he's now named
shit.
Taylor because he's not in the air anymore. He's underwater.
He's meeting the Prussians.
Yeah. Upon protest by his mother, This report was amended to cause unknown since Taylor's compass was out and there was no physical evidence to be found.
It's really cool how one woman being like, "Don't call my son a useless piece of shit," is enough to like spark decades of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
I can tell you, if I had a kid, if I had a son who did this, I'd be like, nah, he was a fucking idiot. I fucked up. All this time I put into this fucking idiot, teach them directions. Do you know how many maps he has in this fucking room? Then crack. Well, this is 19. Like, so he's like a when was he fucking born? Like 1917.
Yeah,
he was always on
yeah.
that. He was always on that fucking radio, listening to the Procter and Gamble soap hour.
Captain
Never looking at
Billy's
his
whiz
maps.
bang.
Yeah.
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine. Anyway, that's what his compass said. 14
and this guy
men.
got the most lost anyone has ever gotten.
Yeah.
And that's like, there's also like, wasn't it like the Tech TV guy who got lost? Or am I thinking of a different guy? There was a game. There was like a game. The guy got lost in Oregon following his GPS.
Oh
And
my
he drove
God.
over a forest service road in the middle of winter. Because his GPS told him. I'm laughing. It is actually a tragedy.
People gotta learn to navigate.
Mm.
You should know where you should know what direction you're facing. If you step outside and you look where the sun is, you know what time of day, you should be able to go, oh, I know the general direction.
Yes. Especially if you're going somewhere remote. Or you're in an aeroplane. 14 men on Flight 19 were lost, as well as all 13 crew of the Martin PBM that decided to explode that day.
Jesus.
Poor bad.
Don't smoke in the red barrel room of the flying boat.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, exactly. To this day, people have tried searching for Flight 19, and they've come up with dozens of other wrecked aircraft, but not the 5 in this incident.
Making it the U.S. Navy's most effective operational use of camouflage.
Yeah, I mean,
They were painted
Stealth
blue.
aircraft, they were on that shit early.
I mean, it's got to be somewhere. Like, I mean, the fucking coastal plain goes pretty far out that area, so it's got to be somewhere.
I keep sending Grumman TBF Avengers into the ocean, and they keep disappearing. Well, it sounds like you're just feeding the ocean TBF Avengers.
That's actually why sea levels rise.
Yeah. I'm still sending them out to this day.
You'd think they would have learned their lesson by now.
No.
Fucking Corpus Christi pilots. God damn it. How many are there?
It's amazing Texas has a positive growth rate. So now we have to talk a bit about the 2 incidents that really resulted in the formation of the myth of the Bermuda Triangle, right? Which were 2
I see
planes.
the bad flag. I see the bad flag on the tailplane on the rudder. This is our fault.
Yeah.
You get the urge to do the weird salute.
Getting the urge to
British-
eat an entire stick of Kerrygold.
We got to talk about British South American Airways. There's a bunch of pilots from World War II. They decide, fuck it, let's start an airline.
Yeah,
Right?
BSAA's in-house specialty was weird disappearances.
Yes.
There's another couple specifically that I want to talk about in future episodes because they are spooky. This is spooky too.
The planes all had rising damp for some reason.
Yeah. the planes all had rising damp. The pilots all had like massive PTSD.
Yeah.
You know, there's this whole bunch of ex-military transports around you can get for a discount. You know, starting an airline right now is cheap, easy, and fun. Right?
You just buy a Dakota for like nothing.
Yeah. In this case, we're talking about BSAA Star Tiger, right? Which is an Avro Tudor 4. This is not the same aircraft, but it is a similar aircraft, right?
It's beautiful.
This is based on a Lancaster heavy bomber, right? Or is it Lancaster? Because it's British.
Lancaster?
Lancaster, yeah.
Okay.
The Lancaster heavy bomber.
The Lancaster heavy bombers.
We're just dropping whoopie pies.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of horses in there. On
There's a puppy
treadmills powering
farm inside. Yeah, we're taking the Pennsylvania Dutch regiment or wing out on Rumspringa and whole shit.
The Pennsylvania. we found a companion to the Pennsylvania Secret Service, the Pennsylvania Dutch Air Force.
They're
just like a buggy with wings badge on the emblem. Fuck, I gotta make that now, and there will be a t-shirt link in the description.
Yes, please.
It's a stealth unit. It's got no lights, but it does have the orange reflector on
the back. They were providing close air support at the Battle of Gettysburg.
They could put an airfield up in a day.
Yeah, they were doing Wild Weasel because they were trying to avoid the underwater Prussian gun.
I hate having to go to the Pennsylvania Dutch Air Force's control tower raising.
There's no electronics inside.
We've just invented cargo cults again from first principles.
Yes. Well, no, but they actually have aircraft is the thing.
Yeah.
You know, there's there's people churning aircraft fuel. You know, there's
everybody has a cargo cult, but theirs works.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the real hardworking guys, I mean, they're kind of annoying, but they do. You know, you don't have to deal with any union problems when you hire these guys. You know what I mean? They just gotta do their work. Yeah. Build a hell of a fake fireplace. Every single plane's got a fake fireplace inside.
Oh hell yeah.
Nova, I don't know if you're familiar with this.
Oh, not at all.
So they used to sell on infomercials, Amish made fake fireplaces, like electronic fireplaces. Amish made.
But how? Do you have like a Shavos guy for like?
I think they made the wood like frame of it, and then I guess the electronics were someone else took care of that.
They are allowed for certain reasons dealing with the English to use technology. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here, I'm gonna put it. This is the website. It's called Dutch Crafters. Here you go.
And
you can.
They're
only $2,000.
For the listeners outside of Pennsylvania, the English is how the Amish refer to everyone who's not Amish.
And they're not Dutch. They're German. They're fucking weird. Kind of like bullshit.
This is also true. They are Anabaptists, in fact.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So,
download weirdly high resolution USAF wings.jpg.
The Avro Tudor 4 was based on a Lancaster heavy bomber. It was Britain's first pressurized airliner, and so said BSAA chief pilot and operations manager Gordon Storr. The Tudor was built like a battleship. It was noisy. I had no confidence in its engines, and its systems were hopeless. The Americans were 50 years ahead of us in systems engineering. All the hydraulics, the air conditioning equipment, and the recircling fans were crammed together under the floor without any thought.
Land of hope and glory.
There were fuel-burning heaters that would never work. We had the floorboards up in flight again and again.
Like an apartment with rising damp. Yes.
Hearts of oak are our plane.
And did those feed in ancient times?
Oh God. What, going back to like the William Blake archive, and he has one of these in his fucking fever dreams.
25 passengers, 6 crew board Star Tiger on the 28th of January, 1948 in Lisbon. Then they were kicked off while they worked on the port inner engine.
Probably running a rat lines route.
Then 2 hours later, they were let back on again, and the plane departed for refueling at Santa Maria in the Azores.
Part of the Bermuda Triangle, we've established this.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, yeah.
First time looking at this point of the Bermuda Triangle. We've all been on the other side so far.
The weather was absolute garbage, so they waited until the next day to depart for the main leg to Bermuda, a distance of 2,300 miles, which was just at the outer edge of the airplane's range.
No,
good.
30% in reserve is a rule for a reason.
Listen, I didn't survive like terror bombing Germany for like
For you to
years.
ask me to have 30% reserve, come on.
Yeah. I didn't need
It's a
30%
good
reserve when I
mission when the
firebombed
ball turret gunner
Dresden.
doesn't get killed.
Yeah. The weather improved, but the headwinds were still very strong. Hold on, right. Did I miss a paragraph? No.
No, you're good.
Okay, yeah, they waited until the next day. The weather improved, but the headwinds were very strong. Captain Brian McMillan decided to fly low at 2,000 feet to avoid the worst of the wind.
Flying low, famously good for your fuel efficiency.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's great. And
He
people love
kept
it.
in
They
ra-
can see stuff out the windows.
Yeah.
it's true. Like the water
Mm.
and the
The-
water.
Increasingly close.
And Flight
And the
19
water.
and all the other ghosts
Yeah.
in the Bermuda Triangle.
He kept in radio contact with the flight ahead, which is another BSAA flight flown by Captain Frank Griffin. That was on an Avro Lancastrian, which is a converted bomber.
Yeah, like even
you know-
more of a converted bomber.
Yeah, no, this is based on the bomber. That one actually was a bomber. in a
You
previous
accidentally
life.
you can accidentally ditch the passengers.
Yeah, the passenger aimer sits up front.
Yeah. So yeah, he is keeping in radio contact with the flight ahead of him to determine the weather conditions, but the Tudor 4 was also slightly faster. So over about 10 hours, he closed the distance, right? Now, by that time, Frank Griffin on the Lancastrian realized, okay, we've been blown about 60 miles off course. He did
Jesus.
this through celestial navigation.
And
Yeah,
and-
because the Lancastrian had a dome that you
Yeah.
could look out at the stars through.
Yeah.
yeah, planes had this, but like
Yeah.
you didn't have radio range for like a VOR or whatever, like any of the other radio navigation. Yeah, so you sent a guy to the dome with the sextant. Literally
Yeah.
is what they did.
Back to Aubrey Maturin again.
Yep, it all goes back to the sea.
So
Mhm.
he relays this back to the
to
what's
Star
it?
Tiger.
To Star Tiger, yes.
Cool code name.
And so, well, it's the name of the airplane.
It's a cool airplane name.
Yeah, exactly. And so the navigator on the Star Tiger figures out a new course, which puts them directly into a gale to get to Bermuda.
Love it.
Captain McMillan was like, we'll probably still land with about an hour's worth of fuel left, though. We're fine, right?
Mm.
So later that night, a merchant ship about halfway between Bermuda and the Delaware Bay
Oh no.
caught sight of a low-flying aircraft heading directly towards Cape Hatteras.
No.
So far, it's not even the Bermuda Triangle. It's just Cape Hatteras.
Just Cape
They-
Hatteras.
They keep avoiding the Bermuda Triangle. Like
yeah. You pass through the Bermuda Triangle and then something bad happens. Contact with the aircraft was lost about 3:00 in the morning from land. Griffin's flight was approaching Bermuda around 4:00 in the morning. He radioed Star Tiger to say he was switching to the telephone to contact Bermuda approach control. He received no response. There was no contact with the flight from that point onwards. The search lasted 5 days and just god awful weather. Turned up absolutely nothing.
Add to list of mysterious disappearances.
Yes. There's a couple theories as to what happened here, one of which is that they forgot they were only at 2,000 feet and started descending from 20,000 feet.
Whoops.
that's a pretty that's a hard mistake.
Yeah, I would hope so. And the other one is, of course, they're just way off course. The weather's too bad.
Yeah,
The planes weren't that good back then.
No.
BSAA's tutors were all grounded, but upon protest from officials from the airline, a formal investigation was held, and it was completely inconclusive. So they started flying the planes again.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we don't know what happened. Just put them back in service. So BSAA Star Aerial was another Avro Tutor 4.
Is it 4 or 6?
Did I copy that wrong?
I don't know. Because they're
Dang.
both. They both exist.
I think they're both 4s. And then I did the Roman numerals backwards.
The
On
fucking Romans,
January-
they're not even around anymore. It's so fucking
Yeah,
real
exactly.
smart guys.
On January 17th, 1949, it was pressed into service when another aircraft's engine failed on landing. To take the passengers from that aircraft from Bermuda to Kingston, Jamaica, right? This is not such a long flight, right? The weather was excellent. The flight was taken at high altitude because you have efficiency up there and the weather's good enough to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And after exactly 2 radio transmissions to Kingston, the flight went completely silent and never showed up. And 6 days of searching turned up nothing.
Whoops.
Yeah. So, there's some questions that day about radio reception, allegations of sabotage of the plane, right? Nothing firm. Some other later theories include, since the heaters were burning fuel and located in between the hydraulic lines,
Oh, good.
maybe there was a leak in the hydraulic line and then the plane just exploded, right?
The old PBM Mariner.
Yeah, maybe some of these planes just exploded. It's a bad design. There's a reason they don't fly them anymore.
Hmm.
But these 2 incidents with very similar airplanes in the region, these are the incidents that sort of led to the conspiracy of the Bermuda Triangle, which is, again, fairly recent, as Tom discussed earlier.
These 2 shitty planes crashed in circumstances easily explained by other things. It must be a vortex.
Probably.
It must be Atlantis.
Wow, it's the vortex of capitalism.
Oh my
We
god.
weren't meant to sail west. Tolkien was right. You're trying to fly a plane. The Numenorians are trying to fly a plane to Valinor to bomb the seat of the Valar, and as a consequence they were destroyed for the hubris.
Yeah. And a lot of these mysterious Bermuda Triangle stuff, it's like, it's more mysterious because no one survived. Let's talk about one where people did.
There we go.
Let's
look
talk
at
about
that. Finally, a good fucking ship.
Yeah.
Look at that topsail schooner. That is so.
Yeah.
This is like, beautiful. I'm doing the chef's kiss. People can't see.
This is the Pride of Baltimore.
This is my pride and joy, yo.
The Pride of Baltimore was laid down in April of 1976. It was launched in February 1977. It was commissioned by Mayor William Donald Schieffer on May 1st, 1977, as a global goodwill ambassador for the Charm City, for the state of Maryland, and most importantly, for the Chesapeake Bay area, the land of pleasant living.
Just imagine, like, for Fleet Week, the Pride of Baltimore coming into your fucking port to, like, spread goodwill. Yo, we're spreading goodwill, yo. What's up? Like,
just tossing natty bows out.
Yeah. Here's some, guys, try some crab cakes.
It's a replica Baltimore Clipper, 90 feet long, 23 feet beam, 9-foot 9-inch draft. Did we lose November?
No, I'm here. I was muted because I was busy trying to Photoshop an Amish buggy onto onto a pair of Air Force Navigator wings. Sorry.
Oh yes.
This is some real municipal goodness here. I was just
I appreciate a mayor commissioning a
Yeah.
sailing ship, and I don't think
Yes.
enough mayors do that.
No, and
this is entirely paid for by the city of Baltimore.
I assume that
Oh, yeah.
I assume that Nova was just struck in awe.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
it
certainly.
is like I can't say enough. This is a fucking beautiful ship. I want it.
Yeah, this is topsail schooner, right?
Topsail schooner, yeah.
It says built at tremendous expense to be as accurate to the original as possible, with the original methods of craftsmanship in full view of the public, adjacent to the Maryland Science Center, right there in the middle of the Inner Harbor, complete with demonstrations and tours of the construction, all paid for by the city.
I'm just imagining, we're here at the Maryland Science Center, and it's like a guy in a lab coat, but it's like he's got a Ravens jersey on underneath. And we're here trying to figure out ways to get fucked up quicker. We've developed a natty boat with twice the alcohols. And
give me a second here, guys. My recording just stopped.
Uh-oh.
Fuck. I think I know why.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if I can beat the clock here.
Your audio recording or
the audio, not the video, but the video will stop soon.
It's showing on like your thing disconnected.
But the local stopped due to lack of hard drive space. I think I beat it.
Do you want
fingers crossed?
Yep, 20 gigabytes left. Says it's still recording. All right, let's go.
So anyway, we're at the Maryland Science Center. We're trying to develop advancements in crab cakes. Advancements in having an accent pretty similar to Philadelphia, but not quite.
All right, I got a second local going.
Okay.
Oh my god!
I knew I should have checked that before I started. I figured I had space though. Damn. Anyway, now it's going to be impossible to buy hard drives owing to the tariffs. But
that's true.
You're just hot swapping hard drives as you're recording.
Exactly. So yeah, they built this as sort of a a public service, right? As sort of we're going to have this as a goodwill ambassador. It's also going to be an exhibit for the bicentennial. We're going to build this Baltimore Clipper. We're going to bring people around to see it. This is entirely for the people. It's rare that you see like civic mindedness like this anymore. I mean, these days people be like, why are you spending all that money on a boat when you could spend it on police beating up black people? This it's an incredible thing that they did. So it spent 9 years sailing the seas. It visited ports all over the Americas and Europe. It racked up about 150,000 miles. And on May 14th, 1986, while sailing home from Puerto Rico, she sailed into a microburst and capsized basically instantly and sank, killing 3 of the crew and the captain.
They must have caught it with like in a compromising position where you couldn't like reef the sails fast.
No, it was really fast apparently, according to the folks who survived. It was like it was because this ship was known to it was wet, as they say.
Getting like Barrett's privateered, but for the city of Baltimore in the 70s, '70s of like the 20th century,
the mid 80s.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah. The storm was so violent, there was not even time to send a distress call, right? It just flipped over. The remaining 8 crew managed to cling to a partially inflated life raft for 4 days, or I think 5 days. They were in a busy shipping lane, and they at least had flares, and they sighted about half dozen ships who didn't respond to the flares.
It's like, fuck you, don't want to, don't feel like it.
Yeah.
There's a special place in boat hell for you, not rendering aid.
They were eventually picked up in the middle of the night by a passing Norwegian tanker who happened to spot them. Because everyone's wearing their high-vis stuff. They managed to somehow... They were out of flares.
Yeah.
But somehow this tanker spots them. And the tanker picks them up and, you know, gives them food and shelter. The one guy was like, damn, we smelled really bad.
There's actually flare strategy. I don't know if you know that. There's like when you're doing like your search and rescue training, there's or any like boat operations training, there's like there's like a certain way you use your flares. Like you're supposed to like, well, if you have aerial ones, you're supposed to use them first, and then like you signal your like tighter location with the handheld. But like, yeah, like you're not supposed to burn them all at once. I'm not saying they did, but like,
Nah, I don't think they did. I think it was just like
people are assholes.
People are assholes, I guess. Well, it was all like cruise ships and stuff, so you know.
There's probably a bunch of fucking Colts fans.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
So this is, you know, ultimately, I think the lesson of the Bermuda Triangle is like, okay, sometimes shit just happens. And you know that shit just happens to happen in the Bermuda Triangle. And the other thing is
where a lot of stuff occurs.
They immediately started building Pride of Baltimore too.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Which I believe is laid up at the moment. They're unfortunately they're transferring it to a nonprofit rather than having it owned by the city. Which,
Laid up in ordinary, her captain on half pay. That sounds like a Patrick O'Brien novel.
Yeah.
Bring her back. Bring her back. Every city should have a ship.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like Philadelphia should. Well, all right. Philadelphia should have like a frigate.
Yeah. We got the Moshulu. I don't think that's seaworthy.
No, we should have is a reproduction of the USS Philadelphia, which I think was one of the original 6. Was she a full ship? Yeah, she was a full ship 36-gun frigate, so she would have been like a 6 or 8, I guess, by British standards. How's the Photoshop going, Nova?
Yeah, real good, real good. I'm trying to do like a tail section on a Pennsylvania Dutch buggy, which it's going pretty well.
Get like the SVG, or like so that way people can like put it on Blender and make liveries for Flight Sim.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, even to this day, you know, things are still happening in the Bermuda Triangle, probably because it's part of the ocean.
Yeah, like we said, the SS El Faro happened in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah,
because it's like part of the ocean.
How deep does this conspiracy go?
All the way to the underwater gun. All the way to Atlantis. And here on this slide, I put this in here. This is just a 1950 Associated Press article. It popularized the idea before it was named the Bermuda Triangle. And you could see, and also beautiful handwritten lettering here, describing the different vessels that disappeared.
Oh, that is lovely. Yeah.
Flight 19 is on there. I'm trying to see what Star Tiger's on there.
I love how that turns into like a PBM rescue plane with 13 aboard was also lost, as opposed to exploded mid-flight because like all of the pipes were made out of like cardboard and leaked kerosene everywhere.
Look, I'm reading the captions. This map made by a staff artist. Remember when they used to have those?
Oh my god!
Many moons ago, when these old oaks were young. Yeah.
Plane carrying 32 persons flew nearly 1,000 miles toward Miami, but never arrived.
Ooh.
Mysteries of air, sea remind moderns that shrinking world still swallows up men.
What a headline! No one's gonna rate a fucking no. The headlines now are train runs into people. Yeah. Like jumped off.
Hey, you could still disappear forever and never be found.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like moderns as a derogatory term.
Yeah.
Remind feckless moderns.
Feckless moderns.
Yeah, whoever wrote this was like a big into celestial navigation. This radio thing will never serve. Will never serve. You have to know your stars. You have to know your Canopus and Arcturus. Oh my god. Yeah, no, it's a great headline because even though it's a shrinking world. So you have you have nice figurative language. It swallows up men because you're not. We think we're the master of the world. I really do. We still do. Like, and we're not that far removed from fucking steam engines and having to pop up to the fucking navigation dome.
Yeah, and but we did develop the weather machine to send the hurricanes
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
But they
Well,
all still
that's-
have to go through here. We're not that good yet.
Yeah, we could. They have to gain a little momentum before we could push them. Yeah. All right, you can go to the next slide. This one fucking drives me nuts. So,
Oh yeah.
I was looking for a map of common seagoing routes of trade in the Bermuda Triangle. You'll see that somewhere in this gallery of bullshit is that somewhere.
Never came back. What really happened? Did he survive this?
Did he survive? Yeah, let's look at these.
I hate you, Shiv.
Just pilot survived. This is what he said. He saw what, a plane, a fucking like Mooney flying into a vortex with lightning underneath. I like how like column 1, row 2, which is like it's the AI generated instead of like a whirlpool, like a triangle shaped depression.
It's a triangle whirlpool. Yeah.
Just ships being sunk. Did he survive this? This was the last time I saw them. Unlocking Bermuda Triangle's darkest secrets. Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle.
I like the idea that the Bermuda Triangle is actually just a small triangle-shaped depression in the ocean. And no one was able to avoid this or chart it.
You see it and you're like, oh, fuck, it's over.
It's sucking in an A380. It's pulling an A380 from 40,000 feet down into it.
If Scylla and Charybdis were like modern navigational obstacles that you just say, all right, just don't go near them.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
It's like, okay, about 6 nautical miles out, when you get near the sirens, put your earplugs in. We would have procedures about this.
Oh, I should have clicked on this. This says Bermuda Triangle Miracle of Silence, and it's an AI generated image of a whirlpool, but also like a water spout inside the whirlpool. And it says the Bermuda Triangle, and it's a PowerPoint.
That rules.
Oh,
hell yeah!
I should have looked that up. But yeah, we have like a toxic sign, and that plane that's a 787 that looks like to be coming out
There's
of the
2
ocean.
of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just
all right. You want like a horrible, bizarre like phenomena in terms of the ocean. Look at the Bay of Fundy. I mean,
yeah, that's some weird shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, I've flown over the Bermuda Triangle several times in actual real life. I am not dead yet.
I think a lot of people have. Is the thing. Like,
anyone
the mystery is not. It doesn't have hands anymore.
Yeah.
It's like,
we have like live 24/7 coverage of the ocean.
You can pull up flight radar. You can pull up, well, in fact, marinetraffic.com.
Yeah.
That might be. Here's my rant. God, I fucking hate AI. I fucking hate the internet. The internet should have been Wikipedia and email. We peaked in 93. Just end this fucking planet already. Look at these titles and thumbnails. This is the stuff that teenagers watch instead of reading in school. This is why hacks like Brandon Sanderson have jobs. This is why people are writing books with info boxes in them describing character stats and like their power rankings and shit in the middle of a fucking book.
There's a real darkness in Brandon Sanderson. I read a long piece about him that like got some of the surface weirdness, but I think missed some of the like real. There's I don't know. I felt brushed by the wings of something dark with Brandon Sanderson.
Was that the one where the guy lived with him for like a couple days?
Yeah.
If you, I've said this to you before. If there's ever anyone, though, if you want to do a takedown of this motherfucker, I watched all of his lectures. Hate watch them. I hate the guy. He sucks. He's so fucking feckless.
I don't know who this person is.
He's like a Mormon science fiction author.
And there's going to be people who are like, and then when but Tom, you suck because like I read in the book when like the ghost like that floats around that tells you what emotion you're supposed to feel said sad, I cried and it made me feel really important. And like the racism, like where it's your eye color, that really like stood in for like the racism of like your skin color. And I thought that was really good world building. Read adult books. Stop reading Harry Potter. Fucking read read. You want to be sad, read anything a Russian's ever written.
I was over last weekend. I watched. It was part of Adam Curtis's. I forget what the documentary was called. I got really mad because it looked really anti-nuclear. And then, at the very end, there was an interview with one of the Soviet scientists, and he was like, "Well, our reactors sucked because our scientists never read Dostoevsky and Tolstoy." And I was like, "Oh shit, no, this is entirely right.
Yes.
My opinion has gone 180 degrees."
You need a broad education.
Yes.
You can't just have STEM.
Yeah, no, you read good literature, not young adult novels. That's trash that's supposed to go in the garbage.
Yeah. This is the most cancelable thing. I have said stuff like this back when I was still active on Twitter, and I had people like go off on me. You want to read it for fun? Fucking go ahead. But it's like I'm gonna eat a cheesesteak. I'm not gonna eat a cheesesteak every fucking day. I gotta get some vegetables. And go read literature that's a vegetable of the brain. It's kind of fucking wild.
Yes. Yeah, you have to get some good fiction in you. I mean, this is also like a danger of reading too much nonfiction books.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I got World War II pilled because I read too many dad books.
Yeah, it's a balanced diet, and
Yes.
you need your Star Trek technical man.
Yes, this is also true.
I need to know how the holodeck collects the cum that's clearly covering the floors and using that in the replicators because it's break it down to constituent matter. You can go to the next slide. well, not linger. Look, this was a snapshot taken today by me looking at marine traffic. Look at all those boats going through the Bermuda Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many of them made it safely home. Probably all of them. Because we would have heard about it. That's a lot of boats.
Except for the ones up here at Cape Hatteras. All these guys are dead.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Terrifying. Yeah, you just can't ship anything through there.
Listen, it's called the graveyard of the Atlantic for a fucking reason.
I can't believe they sent people there.
Yeah. Nominative determinism sometimes, is real. Especially if the name came after the thing that happened.
Yes.
So I have so what's the real cause? Is it like the spooky vortex? And we didn't even touch the methane was how do you say it? Clathrate theory,
yes.
where methane is bubbling because of global warming out of the seabed, and it's reducing the density of the water, and these like boats are just sinking.
That wouldn't make sense even 50 years ago.
It's called hurricanes. It's called hurricanes.
Once that problem gets bad enough, we're already dead.
Yeah. Or is it like a case of cherry picking data from a high traffic area that's also prone to severe weather?
Probably.
It's probably
you can never. Can you ever be sure? I don't think so.
It could be the ghosts that are driving the weather. I mean, God's way.
We're forced to assume so and panic.
Yeah. Here's the most important fact, right? If you own a ship, you don't have to pay any extra insurance for going through the Bermuda Triangle. If it really was a thing, they would be charging you up the ass.
Yes.
Yeah, why are you going to take that into the death zone? Please don't do that. We don't. Your contract is void now because it would be like a clause in it, all right, you can't take your ship to the Bermuda Triangle unless you pay the money because everyone dies there.
Yeah, it would be like conducting any business in the United States 6 months from now.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I
what are you doing? Get out.
I'm sure there's a clause in my life insurance that if I built like my own space rocket and blew myself up, they might be like, yeah, that was fucking idiot. Like, we're not paying. This is for a heart attack, not for trying to become like, not trying to build a rocket.
Not trying to be Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and there was a quote from Noah. I'll leave that. It says, "There's no evidence that mysterious disappearances occur with any greater frequency in the Bermuda Triangle than any other large, well-traveled area of the ocean."
That's fine. They fired the guy who wrote that, so like now Noah's going to be like, no, draw your own conclusions.
You jumped on me there. That's what I was going to say next.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So, what's the verdict? I guess Bermuda Triangle, real? Is it fake? Devin, can you put in the Jonathan Frakes? It's fake. We made it up.
It's fiction.
It's
Never
real,
happened.
but really selectively. Like it did the like British airplane, but none of the other ones.
Yeah,
It's gonna be like 50 years from now, like Flight 19 is gonna come back in.
yeah.
You know,
It's like, sorry guys.
Well, maybe
yeah.
maybe like there's like some weird antipode thing. So like Flight 19 will come out of the Indian Ocean, and then like Malaysian Airlines flight was 370 will pop up out of the Bermuda Triangle,
and they crash into each other.
Oh
my
shit!
god!
Just like
because it's because they don't teach celestial navigation anymore.
Exactly twice.
Yeah. That would have been a fun episode of what's that episode of Star Trek? Yesterday's Enterprise, where the Enterprise C comes out of the time vortex. But imagine that the Enterprise D just like runs into it. They just both explode at the end. It just end credits.
End of the series.
End of the series.
It's not a time loop. That's just the end of the series.
It's just
5-minute episodes. Go to
ran out of
commercial.
money.
That would be a really funny way to end the Star Trek series. They crash and they all die. That's it.
I hope
Roll
that's how
credits.
I hope that's how they end Discovery.
Yeah.
God, that show fucking sucks. Ooh, it's the mycelium. Shut the fuck. And then you go in the 32nd century, and you got ships with nacelles that aren't attached to the ship. They look like fucking just, I don't know. They just fucking look stupid. Make the ships look cool. Yeah, fuck you.
We
Fuck you,
found a
Paramount.
spatial anomaly. We better go into it. Oh, it turns out it was a black hole.
Shit. or yeah, they called it a black star in the original series. Like, oh, what do they mean by that? Not a black hole.
Well,
all right.
So yeah, Bermuda Triangle is fine.
Bermuda Triangle disproved. Conspiracy theorists
Debunked.
in pieces.
Yes,
On
exactly. We've debunked it finally.
On the
Don't
thumbnail,
go to Cape Hatteras unless you're on the beaches.
the thumbnail needs to be Roz doing like a Ben Shapiro, like, yeah.
Don't go into the Bermuda Triangle, or do go into the Bermuda Triangle.
Let's say, for the sake of argument, the commanding flight of U.S. Navy torpedo bombers, and let's say, for the sake of argument, that you don't know what you're doing. And let's say that hypothetically, the compasses on your aircraft break.
What would you do?
Well, you're supposed to have compasses on your airplane. The airplane's compasses are tied into the clocks. So why would you get rid of them? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any logical sense. These are men in World War II. They knew what they were doing. This sounds to me like some sort of woke smear campaign designed to make us think that men from Corpus Christi can't fly planes. And I don't believe that.
We are scared by the fact that this Texan man didn't have pronouns.
Yes.
The only man without pronouns in existence.
Wow.
You can't refer to him.
My pronouns are well and I see.
My pronouns are sweet and tea.
Now, we have a segment on this podcast called Safety Third.
Trying to do Eric Adams here.
Shake hands for danger.
Ahoy, Nova, Liam, and Roz.
That's a good greeting.
The ahoy was well chosen,
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, no Liam, unfortunately.
Mm.
And various awesome guest hosts.
Sniped.
Saved it.
Thank you.
I would like to share a story about aviation safety
Yes.
and a hastily thought out and very stupid idea. I once worked as a mechanic for a small flying service. We operated a fleet of small seaplanes,
Oh my
one of
god.
which
Yes.
one of
That
which is
rules.
the subject of this story.
I hope
That
that's the
rules.
seaplane in the
Yeah, this is a gorgeous truck. I got to start playing SnowRunner again.
On the very first day on the job, my first task was assisting in beaching a seaplane from the ocean onto a poorly maintained homemade trailer and towing it across the airfield to our hangar, where it needed to be serviced. This was normally done with a well-worn and very rusty pickup truck, owing to the fact that it was regularly driven into the ocean.
This rules. This rules.
And then also used to spread salt on icy winter roads.
Oh, it had never had a chance.
On this particular day, a large amount of slimy seaweed had washed ashore, and this truck, which had most of its bed underwater and was blowing bubbles out the tailpipe like a kid with a straw and a cup of Coca-Cola, had become buried up to the axles in seaweed, unable to move and unable to disengage the attached seaplane, which was sitting on the trailer, holding it to the seafloor. The floats were only partially floating.
Nightmare.
A fellow mechanic and I were dispatched in another pickup truck with a chain and a handheld radio. Since we had to keep two-way communications with everyone else using the airfield, lest we cross into the path of an arriving or departing aircraft. In hindsight, this was a really stupid mission.
As I say, nothing I haven't done in SnowRunner or
Yeah.
Spin Tires.
Hook a truck to a trailer to a 70-year-old airplane and tow it out of the ocean.
When I used to play Kerbal Space Program, this is how all of my space missions tended to end. Yeah,
When
just
we-
fucking go out there and pull it back.
I just your capsule accidentally like gets sent to the bottom of the ocean. You start freaking the fuck out of thalassophobia.
You ever seen like the specially modified like seaplane specific pickup trucks?
Oh yeah, they roll the really high ones that you can like crank upwards.
No, like they cut the bed off and then they put an extension on the front.
Oh, sick!
Ah.
That's pretty cool looking.
Let me Google this real quick.
Yeah.
It
This
is very funny.
evidently
looking.
not one of these, but
It's very funny looking. It's like a backwards truck.
it's a backwards truck, yeah. When we arrived at the beach, we parked the second truck on wet grass and we attached it to the half submerged seaweed encased truck with a 20-foot long chain. I got out with a handheld radio to act as the safety observer, which was not very effective, owing to the insane cacophony that was about to commence. What I saw still blows my mind to this day. The mechanic in the second truck took up the slack and began to pull, with two 4x4 trucks pulling with all their might and spinning their tires wildly against wet vegetation. This convoy went nowhere. The pilot had the idea to utilize the thrust of the seaplane.
reverse thrust. Reverse thrust.
The sound of this seaweed being ground into nothing.
To utilize the thrust of the seaplane as a third source of power to push the trailer and attached truck up the beach.
This is
Yeah,
me.
sure, why not?
This is me getting yelled at and playing VAT Sim and Flight Simulator because I use reverse thrusts to back away from the terminal. Like, you can't do that.
Break
You're not allowed to
every
do that.
I do what I want. We established radio communications between the three vehicles and myself and began the maneuver, with each operator having independent throttle control over their respective vehicle, much like old-timey steam train engineers had to do to start moving a multi-unit freight train.
Push, pull, right?
The driver of the stuck truck gave it full throttle instantly and dug it deeper into the mire, while the other two operators applied steadily increasing power as they began to inch forward. Progress was not fast, and the amount of power to complete the maneuver needed to be increased.
You are going to crush the middle guy like into a cube.
At first, it started to look like the Dumbass Express would solve the problem of getting on an airplane with no wheels, unmired from the seaweed and onto dry land, as this corrosion-riddled mechanical centipede inched very slowly up the beach. And then all hell broke loose. With the combined horsepower of the two trucks with their 8 spinning wheels with essentially no traction, and the aircraft pushing now at full takeoff power with its floats shoved against the front bulkhead of the trailer, there was over 1,000 combined horsepower now engaged in an effort to move about 20 feet. When the stuck truck's rear wheels had finally breached the surface of the ocean, they suddenly broke through the seaweed and dug into the beach surface, which was made of sand and medium-sized rocks.
Oh, God.
The chaos that erupted sounded like a miniature version of a World War II air battle as a 9-cylinder, 450 horsepower radial aircraft engine in the rear and 2 V8 truck engines in the front roared, and the second truck sprayed fist-sized rocks towards the airplane, which was, again, I cannot stress this enough, at full throttle takeoff power, spinning an 8-foot metal propeller. Rock and sand instantly began to bounce off the trailer and the hollow metal floats of the airplane, which, if you know anything about acoustics, sounded like a death metal drummer on acid. People across the bay told me they heard it from up to a mile away. Miraculously, none hit the aircraft itself, as far as we know, as it sat approximately 4 feet above the floats. So I guess gravity kept it safe. The semi-submersible truck driver, essentially dirt bike style, roosted a pickup truck at an airplane full power with beach sand and rocks.
Jesus.
When I thought about the carnage that even a single, let alone hundreds of rocks kicked up by spinning tires hitting a propeller spinning at 2,400 RPMs could have done, I vowed never to do anything like this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great idea.
Had the truck been better maintained and equipped with better tires, there likely would have been a shredded wreck of an airplane, or maybe it wouldn't gotten stuck in the first place. I guess we'll never know.
I'm falling out of love with seaplanes, which is a difficult thing to say as someone who loves the movie Porco Rosso.
Well, sometimes they just explode for no reason. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
In hindsight, we should have coupled the first truck to one of the many tractors or construction vehicles on or around the airfield, which likely would have snapped it in half. But time is money, so we used a short daisy chain of medium-duty rotten pickup trucks with poor traction instead, and nearly destroyed a $500,000 aircraft.
Why don't we have a pickup truck multiple units? I mean, that would be
That would make a lot of sense to me. Yeah. How do the guys who do like the high and wide loads do it? You know, they can hitch up multiple like tractor trailers together. You know. So when the Dumbass Express, which had traveled only approximately 80 feet, was finally on dry, level ground, we pulled all the rocks and slimy seaweed off the trailer and the seaplane floats, and the rusty wreck of a pickup truck successfully pulled the rickety monstrosity to the hangar, from whence it still flies to this day. I'm assuming that's the seaplane and not the pickup truck. I greatly enjoy your podcast. It helps keep stupid crap like this from occurring, while also keeping smiles on thousands of faces.
Thank you. Please don't cancel your Patreon.
Yeah.
All the best from Piper. He, him, they.
Thank you, Piper.
Thank you, Piper.
I was sort of hoping that the plane at full takeoff power would start lifting the truck and towing the truck Like it starts to fly, but it's like barely airborne. It's just the truck is just getting dragged.
It pulls
just-
the trailer up with it, and the
Yeah, it's
truck's
just whipping. It's just
dangling
whipping
from the
behind
hitch.
it. Yeah, it's just like knocking shit over, and the plane's just flying on its own. There's no one in there. That would have been very. It would have been horrible.
Flies directly to the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
A kind of drone seaplane.
And like actually the spinning action caused by the fugoid flight shape actually creates the vortex, and then like a full A380 flies out of it just in that thumbnail.
Yeah, exactly. And then the plane from the vortex, the course has changed, and it flies directly into the Cape Hatteras lighthouse.
just as they're loading it on the train, and knocks it over. And the whole time it's going. Da, 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 da. Yeah.
All right, well, that was Safety Third.
Shake hands with danger.
Our next episode will be on Chernobyl. Does anyone have any commercials before we go?
Go listen to 10,000 Losses podcast. It's the only Philadelphia sports podcast that exists. And
You could learn all kinds of exciting things from the last episode, such as why all sex in space will have to be BDSM. Because otherwise you just float away.
Yeah. Unless that's being a bratty sub. She keeps loosening the straps, god damn it. No, yeah, go listen to that because Roz had to step in because the same reason I'm in here, because Liam's off gallivanting in Places Redacted, having fun.
Wow, who would do that?
Typical.
Selfish.
Yeah.
Selfish. Yeah, go listen to that podcast. If you want to find me, Tom Payne on Blue Sky. And yeah, go listen to that podcast. We've had Roz on, we've had Nova on, and on our bonuses, and it's tangentially about sports at this point. It's dumb bullshit. Dumb bullshit.
You have the sports in the middle to add structure, and then you just, you talk about things.
Yeah, and our success or whatever is entirely tied to how good the sports teams are doing. We got like 1,000 first week downloads on like one with the Super Bowl because people are just like, oh fuck it, I'll listen to this one. They're talking about the Super Bowl. They're actually talking about sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, go check that one out.
In short, go Phils.
Yeah, go Phils. We beat the Dodgers.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, so we missed that, but we gave the Dodgers their first loss. I think these kids are good.
Yes.
They might be good at baseball.
All right. Perfect.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Let's hope it was perfect.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
If my face is in this, Devin, please delete it.
How do I? All right. No, that's the wrong button.
You have to hit the stop button.
Yeah, I have to hit the stop.